Bob Kershaw, Tammy Kershaw, and Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group are waiting for your phone call, 314-993-9494, to set up your retirement review. Are you nearing retirement and wondering how long your money is going to last? You don't have to have those curiosities anymore. Maybe they're anxieties. You can get rid of those with this free sit-down conversation with the fine folks at the Retirement Advisory Group. Schedule your appointment today, 314-993-9494. Let the Retirement Advisory Group build your own personalized structured income plan. It will show you how much income you have in retirement and also how long your money is going to last. You do not have to wonder if you have enough to retire comfortably, because when you meet with Thomas Helbig or Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group, they're going to fill in all of those questions with answers that you can rely on. They've never had a client lose a penny. 314-993-9494. You can find them online right now at retirementkey.com.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
Hi, Charles Payne here at one of the exciting Money Show events where I'm presenting the keynote, broadcasting my live TV show, and best of all, giving away free copies of my newest book, Unbreakable Investor. It's a $29.95 value, but if you act now, I'll give you one too.
For your free copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unbreakable Investor, text WIN to 505-505 and just cover shipping. Text WIN to 505-505. Text WIN to 505-505.
I'm handing you my investing playbook, 348 pages on how I personally invest to target the biggest returns while mitigating risk. It's how I've been with the market so I never break. Guidance so crucial for today's investors that I'm covering the cost of the book and giving you a copy for free.
To get your free copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unbreakable Investor, text the word WIN to 505-505 and just cover shipping. Text WIN to 505-505 while supplies last. Text WIN to 505-505 right now.
Looking for thick, healthy, gorgeous hair? Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair. And hello to thick, healthy hair with hair volume from New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Hey, happy Monday, everybody. Hope your week is starting off well. It's Mike Elam, and fall showed up. When the heck did that happen? All of a sudden, I walked outside today and went, hey, it was just like 90 on Saturday. And then all of a sudden, I think we're approaching 60 degrees right now. It's kind of where we're sitting. Sunny and 58 is what my monitor is telling me right now. So it's chilly. Hello, Ethan. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you, Mike?
So as you may have heard, Annie Fry's not here today. So Mike Elam is here. You look around the studio, and I go, there's no Brad. I look around the studio, there's no Ryan Wiggins, which means the inmates are here. We've got the keys to the asylum, man. We may have the B team here, but we've got an A lineup for you, folks. We've got all kinds of folks. We are going to talk with Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, who is all teed up, and we're going to have him on in just a second. Brian Westbrook is going to join us later on. He's the executive director of the founder of A Coalition of Life. He is going to talk about Amendment 3. There is a lot of stuff, by the way, in Amendment 3 that no one is talking about. So we're going to talk about that so you can kind of understand a little bit more of what's going on with that. There is no Ryan Wiggins, but Ethan is doing Wiggins America, or what we're calling...
Whatever you want to call it, Mike.
I was hoping you had a name. I was just teeing it up for you there, man.
Well, I think that they called it Ethan America last time. That's pretty boring. So I got nothing. We'll have to work on a better nickname. Maybe we can leave that to the fans.
So there you go. Log in and let us know what you think. By the way, while you're there, our YouTube live chat poll of the day, what has hurt Kamala more? Here's your choices. Her lack of interviews, her media blitz, what I'll call her softball interviews that she completely trashes, or nothing. She's killing it, which, according to all the polls, that's kind of what she's doing lately. She's killing her numbers, and she's helping Donald Trump. A guy who has been killing it for the last 2 years, driving the wheels off the bus, and I mean that literally, is Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, and he is kicking us off in A style with the beginning of the show. Lieutenant Governor, how are you, sir?
Hey, good afternoon, Mike. And certainly you guys aren't the B team. You're absolutely the A team today. There's no two ways about it.
Well, it makes us look a whole lot better when you kick off the big show and you have Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe leading off everything. Hey, I know you're super busy, and I appreciate you making some time to be on the radio with us today. Where do we find you, by the way?
We're on our way to Freeburg. It's Buy Missouri Week. And we promote our office, and many of your legislators promote companies that make products right in their own backyard at all 114 counties. And so today we're starting off Buy Missouri Week at Quaker Window in Freeburg, Missouri. It's right in the middle of Osage County. So it's a great area of our state, real hard work ethic people. They make a fabulous window Missourians can buy. The best quality windows for home are commercial right out of Freeburg, Missouri.
You know, our manufacturing business in the state of Missouri just keeps improving, doesn't it?
It is good. And, you know, if you've been around Governor Parson lately, our Department of Economic Development team, that we have some great people on, we're in the top 5 of adding manufacturing jobs. And in certain tech manufacturing, we're in the top 5. I mean, we have done a really good job of making sure people know that we have a good work ethic, that we've worked really hard for the last several years, again, with legislators to work on workforce development. So we have a trained workforce working with our community colleges, our vocational tech schools, our four-year institutions, making sure that employers here have the people they need to fill those roles.
You know, and I think our proximity in the middle of the country is really a key selling point that we haven't made enough of. And I appreciate you and Governor Parson have been banging that drum, because if you think about it, if you make it in Missouri and you get it to the airport, we can have it anywhere in the United States in 4 hours.
Absolutely. Well, you want to get product in, raw materials, right? And then when you make something, you want to get it back out, more importantly, to sell it. And we are at the center of shipping and logistics across the country here. 4 of our 5 major airports are new. I'm hoping that we get some good news on Lambert and some, kind of a public-private partnership and some opportunities there sometime in the future. I'm optimistic we can do that. But we have the second and third largest rail hubs in Kansas City and St. Louis. We have riverport investments, incredible shipping up and down our rivers, which is something other states would die for. And then our interstate system, as you know, we put record funding into now 6-laning I-70, led by Lincoln Huff out of Springfield and Governor Parson and others. And just this last session put some additional resources in 44 down in the Springfield corridor. So we're there. We just need to make sure we continue to sell what a great state we have.
So as you've been traveling around the state, I should ask you, what number visit are you up to on the bus now?
Oh, I think we lost track as far as that is to believe.
You're way past the 200.
The 10 weeks leading up to the primary, in 10 weeks we did 235 stops, and I'm sure we're well over 100 since then. So I'm going to say we're probably in the mid-3s for stops. We'll do multiple this week, multiple next week, and we're working hard. Just 22 days out till Missouri picks their next governor, and we'd really be honored to earn the support of Missourians all across the state. We think we've got a great vision for the state, and we can really take us to the next level.
I'm curious, as you've been traveling for the general election as opposed to the primary, are you hearing the issues change, or are they pretty much the same issues that you were hearing before?
No, when we were going into the primary, we were listening to all Missourians. Obviously, the primary was about, in both parties, running against people in your own party. But crime, Mike, is continuing to be the number one issue that people really want to see their neighborhoods safe. They want to make sure we're backing the men and ladies who keep our neighborhoods safe and making sure they get the resources they need, the personnel they need right there in the St. Louis area. St. Louis City is down 330 officers as of today. On the other side of the state, Kansas City is over 300 down. St. Louis County has multiple officers down. We need to make sure we get the resources to these folks to give them the tools they need and the people they need to protect those communities, because you can talk about economic development and education reform and all the things we'd like to get done, but it starts with a foundation of a safe community for any business, for their employees, or for people who work in the areas and live in the areas we want to locate. We're going to continue to work on crime, and that is our day one plan when our hand comes off the Bible, should we be fortunate enough to win Missourians' trust.
Well, I know East West Gateway just had a meeting last week that's a follow-up on they're calling it a crime summit, I guess, of trying to put more focus on that and get the St. Louis region cleaned up. I really honestly don't know where that's going to go, but I appreciate the fact that it is a main priority for you. As you've always talked about, as soon as your hand comes off the Bible, that's the first priority that you're going to hit to. I'm assuming sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. We actually have, we were very fortunate. You and I have talked about this many times, and you've been a big help in this. We have the endorsement of all the major law enforcement, all the law enforcement agencies actually statewide. And they're right now, we're not assuming anything. We're not putting the cart before the horse, but we don't want to wait either. They're actually working along with Andrew Bailey, the sheriffs, the chiefs, the FOP, the State Troopers Association. They're working to put pieces of this plan together so that we know what we have when we're off and running. And I've already worked with the majority leader in the Senate, who will soon be the Senate Pro Tem, Cindy O'Laughlin, we believe, and for sure the Speaker-elect John Patterson in Kansas City on the priorities we're going to need in the legislature. So we're going to use all the tools we can. The Attorney General is going to use the tools he has. We'll use executive orders for things that we can get done, and then we'll use elected officials to work on statute changes where needed to make sure we really put some teeth into this plan.
How have the turnout changed from where you were in the primary to now when you're going to these different stops? Are you seeing about the same number of people? Are you seeing more? I'm just curious what's out there on the ground these days.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement out there, but we can't, let our foot off the gas. We can't assume anything. We've got to make sure that we continue to work hard all the way through November 5th. I think personally we need a change in Washington, D.C., and the administration that we have now has just absolutely opened our borders, created inflation, just created a lot of problems for our country. So there's excitement, to answer your question, not only about what's going to happen for Missouri in our campaign. We're in Charleston, Missouri, for instance, on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock in a public library parking lot, and had just a load of people come out to meet us and talk about the election. We got to make sure that we keep that excitement level so people are enthusiastic about Donald J. Trump. I believe that he will make the best change for our country, and I hope other Missourians and people around the country come to that same conclusion as we look at the facts and get closer to November 5th.
I know one of the big things that people are looking forward to with President Trump getting in office is turning this economy around and trying to get us energy independent and get prices more affordable at the grocery store again, which, Joe Biden keeps telling us the economy's in great shape. I guess it hasn't made it to the grocery store yet is kind of where we're at. But once you get things rolling with safe communities, and I think that's really the foundation for any community, any state, any nation to grow off of, you're really turning your focus towards cutting taxes and getting the economy rolling in Missouri again, aren't you?
Absolutely. I don't know what any store that President Biden or any of his cabinet might be shopping at, but if you look at it, I tell people all the time, Mike, and you know this, if you look at what you paid for a 2x4 for a gallon of milk, it doesn't matter, from 2016 to 2020, that number is much, much higher right now since 2020 through today, and it is about energy independence. We were exporting energy under the Trump administration, and now we're importing it. Our costs have gone up because of that. It's just out of control. And you're right. We need a change at the national level, but our economic development plan puts more money back into Missourians' pockets, continuing to cut taxes like we have been over the last several years. We've taken Missouri's income tax from 6% to 4.7%. I'd like to take that to zero, because I say all the time, Missourians can spend their money better than any politician, any elected official. Nothing intended for any elected officials that are listening all the time. And so we need to let Missourians take that money, spend it in the market. Our economy will be much, much stronger.
I know you're careful not to get ahead and not to take anything for granted, but you mentioned the Senate, you mentioned the House. how is the Missouri Senate and the Missouri House looking? Are you going to keep that overwhelming majority, do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be. We have to. I know you're having a gentleman on who's a very important issue. You and I know a lot and heard a lot about with Amendment 3. That's troublesome to me. I personally think that's probably one of the worst constitutional amendments that we've seen on the ballot since I've been voting for 42 years. But that's going to bring out different models of voters, and we need to make sure that, hopefully, and I pray and hope that we can defeat Amendment 3. But these House and Senate races across the state are really critical. We have a really critical one there in St. Louis County, Senate 15, where Andrew Koenig is term limited out. We have David Gregory running there, great candidate. So we'd like to keep that seat Republican. So we're working very hard on that. And there's some seats up in the Kansas City area, Senate 11 and Senate 17, that we're working really hard to get great candidates through the race there. So we've got some challenges we want to continue to work on. St. Charles County, as you know, has got a Senate race for Senator Eigel's previous seat. So all of those seats we've got to pay attention to. We got to make sure we get our conservative, Christian-minded voters out to vote on these issues and keep Missouri in the right direction.
Well, Lieutenant Governor Kehoe, I appreciate your time today. I know you're squeezing us in while you're running around the state. By the way, have you filled up the other side of the bus yet with signatures?
We just start doing that, actually, in Charleston and Scott City this weekend. Actually, Dexter, Charleston, and Scott City. We all let people on the other side of the bus, and they all want to be on the passenger side because that's where Ozzie Smith's signature is and Gary Tinkle, so they want to be around those guys. But we're moving them on to the driver's side, and people are happy to be able to get to sign the other side, and we're collecting hundreds of signatures every week.
Well, I wish you the very best in your travels. Good luck in these last 22 days. And again, we appreciate you making time to be on with the Annie Fry Show.
All right, buddy. It's always great to be on my hometown of St. Louis, and I appreciate you having me.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe joining us today. He was talking a little bit. He helped to pre-sale when talking about Brian Westbrook. And we're going to have Brian. Brian's coming in studio, right? We're actually going to have him here. I'm excited. I never get an in-studio guest. And today we're actually going to have two. So Brian's going to be here with us. There are 5 constitutional amendments that we have on the ballot this year. And there's a lot of these amendments that it's tough to understand. And I personally think they write a lot of them that way on purpose. It's the whole conspiracy theory, I guess, that I don't mean to go there. But when you write things like Amendment 3, and we talk about abortion in the state of Missouri, a lot of times people just pay attention to the headlines, and they don't dig deeper. In this amendment, I'm really excited Brian's going to be here because you really need to dig deeper, and you need to understand what Amendment 3 says. And if you want to vote for it, that's between you and your God. But you need to understand fully what it is. And Brian is going to talk with us about that. A little bit later on, Ethan's going to fill in on Wiggins America. We have got a ton of stuff going on today. Charlie Gasparino is going to join us in the 1 o'clock hour. Kurt Barr, who's Director of Elections out in St. Charles County, who, by the way, just crossed the 300,000 registrations in St. Charles County for voter registrations. He's going to be here for that. Scott Fawn, who is the publisher of the Missouri Times, and he is the host of This Week in Missouri Politics, is going to be in studio with us in the 2 o'clock hour. Scott is the guy who, in my opinion, probably has his thumb on the pulse of state politics better than anybody that I know. I know a lot of times with Annie's show, we pretty much stick with national politics, but, the St. Charles County Council guy gets the microphone every now and then. So we are going to talk about some local issues that are going on. We're talking about some state issues for the state of Missouri. For my friends over in Metro East, God love you. There's only so much I can do for you, but we're going to focus on...
Hey, at least it's better than Chicago, right?
This is true. I said that the other day, didn't I? That didn't go over very well. So the Metro East has got a lot of good stuff going on, right? So don't get me wrong. The Metro East has got a lot of good stuff going on. John Simmons and the folks at Alton Works are doing a ton of work for the city of Alton, and they are trying to turn Alton, Illinois, into a tech hub. They are building broadband all over the place. They are remodeling a ton of downtown. They're doing a facelift for the city of Alton. And I appreciate the fact that you got a guy like John Simmons who has an awful lot of money.
Yeah.
And that guy does not have to live in Alton, Illinois.
No.
He could live wherever the hell he wants to, anywhere in the world, literally. And he chooses to stay there because he has a vision of bringing that city back to where it used to be. Alton used to have over 50,000 people in it.
Isn't that something?
They're down to about 25,000. And like a lot of communities that had a manufacturing background, when they lost that key manufacturer, it just devastated the community.
But it's great to see a guy like that, like you said, that has some care for his area where he's grown up, where he's been such a huge, impactful piece of that area for a long time.
He has.
And for him to continue putting the money in and to, even when he's done as much as he already has, to say, no, I'm going to take it a step even further. Revitalizing that area.
It's just great when you can find a community champion and a guy who's willing to say, and you find that from time to time. Randy Schilling does this on Main Street, St. Charles. He has literally poured millions of dollars into creating entrepreneurial workspaces in St. Charles. There's another big entrepreneurial workspace that's going on up in Newtown. But trying to flourish small business, trying to help those small business incubators, and they've got a big incubator space that they're doing in downtown Alton, just like they're doing in St. Charles. And I'm sure they're doing it in other areas around the metro area. But trying to get people to choose St. Louis again and get our area growing. We can't just keep moving people from out of the city out to the suburbs, even though I love having you come to St. Charles. But we've got to grow the metro area, and that means we need some entrepreneurial spirit. But we've got to have a state that is on the right page. Brian Westbrook is going to tell you what you need to know about Amendment 3 on the other side. Mike Elam sitting in for Andy Fry today on 97.1 FM Talk.
What do I stand for? What do I stand for? Most nights I don't know.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Wash my hands of that for this.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Land Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Sick of those annoying ads slowing you down online? Introducing i3 Broadband's 100% fiber optic network with advanced whole home Wi-Fi. With speeds up to 8 gigabits, buffering is so yesterday. Our rock-solid connection keeps you streaming, gaming, and browsing without a hitch, thanks to our ad blocking feature. No contracts, no hidden fees, just pure internet bliss. And we've got a no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee. Dial 877-976-0711 or swing by i3broadband.com/STL STL. We're local, reliable, and committed to St. Louis.
When you bought your home, you took on more than just a house payment. You spend weekends on upkeep, repairs drain your bank account, and with your equity locked up, you can't do anything. You love your home and want to stay, but it's a constant struggle. What if you could sell your home, reclaim your weekends, and not have to move? You can with Truehold's Sell and Stay program. Truehold will buy your home now while the market is high. You can bank all that equity in cash and stay in your home with a lease. Plus, you won't have to worry about property taxes, insurance, or upkeep anymore. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Join thousands that have secured their retirement, paid off bills, and financed their dreams. Get an offer now while the market is hot. Call 1-855-300-9993. That number again is 1-855-300-9993. Or visit Truehold.com to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com. Don't wait. Call now. 1-855-300-9993. Or visit Truehold.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-939-1331. 800-939-1331. 800-939-1331.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Fall weather is on its way. Time to schedule your heating system check to make sure you heat your home safely. Schedule your heating system check today at aircomfortservice.com.
Mark Cox here. I have put together my 2024 general election voters guide with you in mind. The direction of our nation and our state is in your hands now. Visit 971talk.com to see the Mark Cox 2024 voter guide.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Hey, it's Mike Elam sitting in for Annie Fry today on the Annie Fry Show. Somebody asked earlier, is Annie on vacation? Yes. So Annie was off on Friday, and she extended to today. And I guess for celebration of Columbus Day or Indigenous People Day or Monday, whatever you want to call it, Brad and Ryan decided to take the day off because Annie's not here, so they're going to take the day off. But Mike and Ethan are here. So we've got a rock star lineup of stuff to talk about today. It's pretty good when you kick off the show with Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe and him being on the road. And it is Buy Missouri Week, by the way. So this week is all about trying to encourage people to buy products and services that are right here in the state of Missouri and help boost our economy. One of the things that you need to understand, though, is we are 22 days out from our election. Actually, in a lot of communities, you can already vote. We're going to have Kurt Barr on next hour, who's the election authority director out in St. Charles County. And early voting is already going on. Well, absentee. Early voting, I think, starts in another week or so is when the actual no excuse early voting. Like, I guess you need to lie up until now and then, but otherwise you're going to be able to go in. But you have got so many things that are on your ballot this year, and a lot of it are just headline things. And I don't have time to cover all of it right now, but one I really wanted you to learn about is Missouri Amendment 3. You need to know what it says, and more importantly, what it means. Brian Westbrook is joining us. He is the executive director and the founder of Coalition Life. Brian, thank you so much for taking the time to come in today.
Hey, thanks, Mike. We appreciate this.
It's so nice to have somebody in the studio. I never get people in the studio.
Oh, I love coming in the studio. It's a lot of fun.
I love this because I can actually look at you and we can have a conversation that's like normal things, and I'm not just talking on the telephone.
Well, I think some of our political opponents all want to have their debates in the basement, but let's have it face to face here, right?
That's right. And you're not going to get any argument from me on what you were about to talk about, because Amendment 3, to be quite frank with you, scares the hell out of me, right? So I understand where this came from, and I understand we had a lot of initiative petition reform that we talked about during the legislative session. None of that got done. Amendment 3 made it on the ballot. And some people will tell you, I guess, on their side, that the legislature went too far to the right. And this is their way of swinging it back to their version of center, my version of extreme left. What would you say about that?
Yeah, I think Amendment 3 is all about eliminating malpractice protection for any bad actors and also sex change operations for minors without parental consent and also with our tax dollars. And of course, it's a late-term abortion in the 7th, 8th, and 9th month of pregnancy with absolutely no parent involvement whatsoever. So we're not just talking about abortion that's late term. We're talking about absolutely all reproductive health services, anything to do with the reproductive organs of males, females, and of course, children making these decisions without their parents' knowledge.
Because I would tell you, in all the commercials that I've seen on TV or any of the pamphlets that I've seen out there, all they talk about is we're protecting a woman's right to choose and protect her body. And they call it health care for women. I don't understand how abortion is health care, right? Getting a flu shot, that's health care, right? Watching your weight, exercising, that's health care. Abortion is in no way, shape, or form of that. But how does transgender anything have anything to do with abortion rights?
Yeah, well, we can just look at Cornell Law School, who defines reproductive health as also including anything to do with the reproductive organs, including male and female, including the breasts and any of the hormones that they might produce as well. And so when we look at this, we don't think sex change operations is good health care, but by the definition, at least by Cornell Law School and many across the country, that's included in reproductive health services, if you will. There's three words important, and I would tell the listeners we need to look at the actual language. The summary statement does not talk about this at all. In fact, many groups who are supporting this sued the Secretary of State, and they rewrote the entire summary language. And so it's very deceptive when you walk into the ballot box. It's not going to talk about 90% of the issues we're going to talk about today. And so three words, actually four words is important, but not limited to.
But not limited to.
But not limited to. So
and
the
what does that mean?
Basically, it means anything to do with the reproductive organs or the reproductive systems this bill affects. And so then below that, 3 different times, they give full immunity to, quote, anyone assisting another person in their reproductive health care. And so what that basically means, you kind of take it even further down the rabbit trail. If you're going to the OBGYN for a normal, regular visit, and someone's mopping the floor and they're assisting you in your reproductive health and you slip and fall, there's full immunity for that person mopping the floor. If you take a taxi ride to an OBGYN office and they mess something up, if you have a C-section and the baby dies during a C-section, no medical malpractice for that.
Wow.
So they're saying that this protects miscarriage and ectopic pregnancies, but it does exactly the opposite. It protects criminals and bad actors, even sex traffickers who want to push women into abortions, or the school counselor who wants to push a child into a sex change operation. It protects them, but doesn't protect parents or the tax dollars who might be forced to pay for this stuff.
So if you look at the current Missouri law in this subject, are you allowed to have an abortion in the state of Missouri at all right now?
You're allowed to have an abortion if your physical life is in danger, yes.
If the life of the mother is in danger.
Life of the mother is in danger.
Because I'm one of these people who believe that actually only women can have children. I know it's crazy. I know. I'm an extremist, but I actually believe that only women can have babies. But is there currently a week limit of anything like that?
It is only you can only have an abortion in the state of Missouri if the life of the mother is actually in danger. And I've talked to OBGYNs who have had an entire career, and I've not yet once found that an abortion saves the life of a mother. Not once.
Okay.
And so it's there in law, but it's not happening because we don't need abortion to save a woman's life. Never is it the case. Instead, there's other ways that we can help them and save the life of both mom and baby, and we're going to support that effort.
So since there's no weeks like Florida has 6 weeks, others have 12, 15, 20. We don't have any of that in our current law, correct?
Correct.
So what the other side, I guess, would tell you is this is building in that protection, their word, not mine, for someone who is in that situation. But this bill, does it have a week? That
No.
they say this is the end of, once you get past this, you can't have an abortion?
Right. So this is abortion in all 9 months of pregnancy, in the 7th, 8th, and 9th month of pregnancy, with no restrictions, no regulation, no licensing, no zoning, no protections whatsoever for a woman who might go in for an abortion. Nor does it require a doctor to do an abortion. Anyone who is in this vague term called healthcare professional could do an abortion for any reason at all 9 months of pregnancy.
Wait, what? You don't have to have a medical professional? A doctor doesn't have to do this?
No, it removes all licensing, all zoning. I mean, you'll just have to look at the language here. In paragraph 5, and this is why it's important to read the actual language.
It is.
In paragraph 5, nor shall any person assisting a person in exercising their right to reproductive freedom with that person's consent be penalized, prosecuted, or otherwise subject to adverse action for doing so. So it basically says you can't be penalized, prosecuted, or subjected to adverse action. And it doesn't say healthcare professional. It says a person assisting that person.
So they didn't say doctor.
They didn't.
So you don't even have medical professional.
No, you don't
listed
need
here.
you don't need a medical professional to do an abortion, or frankly any reproductive health care in the entire state of Missouri.
Wow.
So it unregulates C-sections, it unregulates hysterectomies, vasectomies, birth control. If you go to the pharmacist and they give you the wrong birth control drugs, or more or less dosage than you would like, it protects pharmaceutical companies. Anyone who is, quote, assisting you in your reproductive health care, it gives them full immunity. It is a sweeping change. And 3 times it does that. We just read paragraph 5, but let's go up to paragraph 3. Any denial, interference, delay, or restriction of the right to reproductive freedom shall be presumed invalid. And we have to understand kind of the layers of government and layers of laws. This is a constitutional amendment. Under that is statutes, and under that is regulation. And so basically they're saying in paragraph 3, the government can't make any law to regulate any reproductive health care at all.
Wow.
At all. So it just wipes away all restrictions and all regulation and basically all safety standards for all reproductive health. Whether we agree on it or not on moral grounds is irrelevant here. And then you go down to paragraph 6, says the government shall not discriminate against a person, again, a person providing or obtaining a reproductive health care or assisting another person in doing so. The word discriminate is incredibly important because the government discriminates based on bad actors versus good actors all the time. And I think it's important for us to realize that they discriminate based on where our tax dollars will go. So if the state of Missouri decides to fund any reproductive health care, they have to provide funding for all reproductive health care, including sex change operations for minors without their parents' knowledge, and also late-term abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy, things that we generally would not like here in the state of Missouri. And so this 3 different sentences inside of this handcuff the voter, it handcuffs the legislature because they cannot pass statutes or regulations. They can't fix this. There's no fixing this once it's passed.
Right.
And so I think, regardless of how you stand on the abortion issue, this destroys reproductive health care throughout the entire state of Missouri for men, women, and children.
We're talking with Brian Westbrook, who is the executive director and founder of Coalition Life. The one thing that I wanted to talk about before we leave is in paragraph 8, it says fetal viability. How is that defined in this bill?
Yeah, so fetal viability is defined as the, quote, good faith judgment of a healthcare professional. One, it doesn't say doctor, physician, physician's assistant, nurse, or anything like that. It just says healthcare professional. And that's not defined either in the bill or in the amendment or anywhere else in Missouri law currently. And so it would be up to an unelected judge to figure out what a healthcare professional is. And secondarily, it just says it's the good faith judgment. Well, if I'm driving down the highway at 80 miles an hour and it should be 55 miles an hour and I get pulled over and I say, officer, I'm sorry, but I don't think I was speeding because in my, quote, good faith judgment, I wasn't speeding.
There was nobody around me. I had the highway all open to myself.
Right.
Come on.
Right. And that's circular law.
Okay.
Right. There's no way that you can regulate or actually hold them accountable by their own, quote, good faith judgment on fetal viability. And so any idea that we're talking about fetal viability is complete lies because it gives it all to the person, quote, assisting them in reproductive health.
It feels like, and one of the reasons why I was excited that you were coming in is this amendment just feels massively gray. Like there is an out, it seems like, for pretty much anything that you would bring up in this law, the way it's currently set. And that's why I said it really scares the hell out of me, because I think a number of people around the country, if you do the polling and you ask, what do you want? They want exceptions built into an abortion law, right? The life of a mother, rape, incest, you hear about that. President Trump was just talking about that and wanting to get those exceptions built in. There are no exceptions in this thing. I shouldn't say that. They're all the exceptions that are built into this thing. You could reasonably, because of it's very gray, make a case for anything under this law. But I know we just don't have a lot of time to go through everything that's here. But if people want to find out more, what's the best place that you can send them?
Yeah, I think there's kind of a non-biased group called mo3facts.com. They have the actual language there. They walk through the language, mo, the number 3, facts.com. Or you can come to one of our events. I'm doing events across the state, coalitionlife.com/events.
You have one coming up in the area soon?
I've got one tonight, and I've got, I think, Assumption Church I'll be in this evening. But my team has me all over the state. And then also our YouTube channel. So go to Coalition Life YouTube channel, and you'll find we've done a series of videos, both from attorneys and also OBGYNs, who are analyzing this in a deep way and found that this removes all medical malpractice for all reproductive health care and also allows transgender sex change operations for minors without parents' consent with our tax dollars. It's all in the language there. We just need to sit and read it.
I would encourage everybody to do that. There are 5, like I said, constitutional amendments that are on the ballot. Don't get caught up in the headlines. Dig into the details because, especially in Amendment 3, details matter. And they are really going to make the difference of what this issue is. And you need to understand before you walk into the voting booth what you are voting on. And that way, you can at least make an informed decision. Vote whichever way you're going to vote, but I would highly encourage you to get to know the details before you do that. Brian, thank you so much for coming in the studio, and we look forward to hearing more from you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mike, and thank you to the listeners.
By all means. That is Brian Westbrook. He's the executive director and founder of Coalition Life. Annie is on vacation. Ethan and I are here, though, and we're going to do Ethan's version of Wiggins America. Could get really twisted really quick. We'll see where this goes. It's 97.1 FM Talk.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan from McKelvey Homes. This month, we're giving $18,980 off our homes in selected communities to celebrate 126 years of legendary quality and craftsmanship. In addition, our skilled craftsmen from the Mid-America Carpenters Union are offering McKelvey buyers up to $10,000 cash towards their new home for closing costs or lower interest rates. Combine these two incredible offers and save big on your McKelvey home. But hurry, this rare opportunity won't last long. Visit McKelveyHomes.com.
Grill Master Tony's cooking up a spooky special for your October. Mark Cox here. How about brisket chili with beans for 10 people, 10 pounds of pre-smoked jumbo wings, 4 pounds of pulled pork, the slider buns, the St. Louis-style sauce, just $225 for 10 people. He's also going to have some specials coming up for Thanksgiving celebrations, and those will be online soon. You can order right now from Grill Master Tony. Just go to grillmastertony.com.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Del's team live in St. Louis. 2 days only at the Hilton Frontenac, Saturday and Sunday, November 9th and 10th. Register now at DelHelpMeNow.com. That's DelHelpMeNow.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. DelHelpMeNow.com. Code 2024.
The YouTube live chat poll today, what has hurt Kamala the most during her presidential campaign? Her lack of interviews, her media blitz, or nothing? She's killing it. Wiggins America coming up next, but Wiggins isn't here, so Ethan's going to fill in. We'll give this a shot. The time is 12:51. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
If your family has been touched by Alzheimer's, join with 97.1 listeners and many others at St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's on Saturday, October 26th at Chesterfield Park. It's a community of support. Register today at 971talk.com/events.
My tears are falling 'cause you've taken her away. And though it really hurts me so, there's something that I've got to say.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
That's what you had to say. You had to say Wiggins America.
It's Wiggins America, Ethan version. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about this. You know, one thing, Wiggins does not get enough credit for how difficult it is to find topics that are actually interesting every single day of the week. So kudos to Ryan for that. But, you know, I had to put my little spin on this today, Mr. Elam, because...
So it's going to be all sports is what we're doing?
How did you know?
I'm just going out on a limb.
Well, your limb is correct. We're going to go ahead and stick with St. Louis sports today. We're going to go through the greatest moments in St. Louis sports history.
Okay.
Listen, this was a challenge to come up with, and we only have a few minutes here, so I'm going to keep it to the top moments. But I came up with 10. We're gonna cut a couple of those out, and we're gonna start with one that didn't occur that long ago, back in 2022.
Widespread stance, arms out over the plate. Bickford from the stretch. The 1-1 pitch. A swing, and there it goes! Left field, way back. That's home run number 700. Pujols
Lewis hits a 3-run homer, and he hit 699 and 700 at Dodger Stadium on September 23rd, 2022.
Oh, that's goosebumps
How
hearing that
about
call.
that?
Is that I get goosebumps thinking about that.
And now you've got the 703 Club.
Albert yes, we do. Albert hitting home runs number 699 and 700 on the same night at the end of the 2022 season. What a run there for Albert to finish out his career.
Wow.
We're going to go ahead and keep it with the Cardinals with this next one. Back in 1998, Mr. Big Mac.
Down the left field line. Is it enough? Gone! There it is! 62! Touch first, Mark. You are the new single-season home run king.
I remember that one.
The summer of 1998, the great home run race between McGwire and Sammy Sosa. You could argue it saved baseball.
1998.
Unbelievable.
I'm just thinking about, wow, that was, 26 years
Did you happen
ago.
to see any of those home runs that year?
I saw all of those home runs that year. Between him and Sammy Sosa, I don't think there was anything else that was actually going on that the Cardinal fans could have a good time watching.
You're not wrong about that. Listen, we know that they hurt us. We know that they left us, but 1999 brought a lot of memories with the greatest show on turf.
Probably the final play of the game. In regulation. It is caught by Dyson. Can he get in? No, he cannot. Mike Jones made the tackle. And the Rams have won the Super Bowl.
Now,
Mike Jones.
I wasn't even alive for that.
Oh, I was.
But Mike Jones, perhaps the most simple name of all time, became maybe the most famous Mike Jones to ever live.
And the game right before that, the name that was huge was Ricky Proehl.
Yep.
Ricky Proehl caught that touchdown pass that put us into the Super Bowl. And then Mike Jones saves the game 6 inches from the goal line.
Not that the St. Louis Rams would have been forgettable, because there was still a lot of great memories. But if you don't have that Super Bowl win, it's going to be really easy for the NFL to just scratch away that it even happened here
Very
in St.
much so.
Louis. Okay, it would be a crime not to mention this one, because 39 years ago it happened.
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run, and the Cardinals have won the game by the score of 3-2 on a home run by the Wizard.
Jack Buck. So wanted to be Jack Buck when I was growing up.
October 14th, 1985, one of the most famous calls, not only in Cardinals history, but also baseball history, and that was a fun one. Ozzie Smith, one of the many memories that he brought to St. Louis, and because we're running short, it would be a crime not to bring up this one as well.
Freeze hits it in the air to center. We will see you tomorrow night.
It'll be 13 years on October 28th since David Freese had his heroics in Game 6 that led the Cardinals to their most recent World Series
And
title.
David Freese is still eating free Emo's Pizza.
That he is indeed. Take it away, Mike.
It's Ethan and Mike filling in today on the Eddie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk. Charlie Gasparino on the other side.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
If you're thinking of getting new hardwood, carpet, laminate, or vinyl flooring at one of those big box or discount stores, put it on hold. as in Reinhold. Reinhold Flooring, covering St. Louis and beyond since 1988. Residential or builder, you'll find everything you need in our showroom on Telegraph. When it comes to investing in your home, you want the best in carpet, laminate, vinyl flooring, or area rugs. Put those others on hold with Reinhold Flooring. Stop by Telegraph Road or learn more at reinholdflooring.com.
If you're thinking of selling your home, I'm sure there are two things you want: certainty and the most money, right? Hi, it's Mark Cox, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know the only agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first and only call when looking for an agent. Gloria doesn't make empty promises. No, she provides written guarantees. Now, what does this mean for you? Certainty. Now, certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she'll buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Supporting your nutrition should be easy. That's why we created the Neovitin Women's Multivitamin monthly subscription. Get your daily Neovitin Women's Multivitamin delivered directly to your door every month. You can pause or cancel your subscription at any time with no long-term obligations. With B vitamins to support energy, vitamin D for bone support, and our physician-formulated proprietary blend, Neovitin Women's Multivitamin is here to support your nutrition every day. Start supporting your nutrition and sign up for a monthly Neovitin Women's Multivitamin subscription today at neovitin.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
In recovery in Florida, I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Several 100,000 customers still have no power after Hurricane Milton, but Governor Ron DeSantis says most outages have been fixed.
There have been over 3.8 million accounts restored for power. So right now, about 97% of the state is electrified and operational.
An especially difficult task after back-to-back hurricanes. Milton is now blamed for at least 22 deaths in Florida. In North Carolina, about 100,000 homes and businesses still have no running water after deadly Hurricane Helene. Pennsylvania, the focus today for Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Trump, each holding campaign events in the state before Harris heads to Detroit tomorrow, emphasizing economic proposals aimed at helping black men as polling raises concern about support with those voters. Harris will be back in Pennsylvania Wednesday, when she'll also be interviewed by Fox News chief political anchor and host of Special Report, Brett Baer.
You know, I think it's a time where they realize, one, we have a big audience that they want to talk to, independents, Democrats, and Republicans.
Harris has also been slipping in some recent polls, with Trump now leading the Real Clear Politics average in 6 of 7 battleground states, though in each case it remains a tight race. The Harris campaign not ruling out any questions for the Fox News interview, which airs Wednesday during Special Report, 6 p.m. Eastern on Fox News Channel. About 100 U.S. troops heading to Israel to operate a new advanced anti-missile system.
The Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System, known as THAAD, will enhance Israel's ability to defend against ballistic missiles. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin telling his Israeli counterpart, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, the deployment demonstrates the U.S. commitment to Israel's security.
Fox's Jared Halper, and this follows Iran's recent missile attack on Israel. America is listening to Fox News.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Did you know every 3 seconds someone is a victim of identity theft? LifeLock wants to give you helpful tips to protect your identity this Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Adding multi-factor authentication, like a text with a security code, is one way to boost your security. But for comprehensive protection, trust LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal info and steps in to resolve issues that arise, guaranteed or your money back. Protect yourself with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Mostly sunny skies, 59-60 for the high. Tonight, some clouds, a quick drop through the 50s for evening plans, 42 for the low. Tuesday, sunny and cool, but light winds on Tuesday, 59-60. Tuesday night, clear, down to 35, a light frost away from the city. Late Tuesday night into first thing Wednesday morning. Wednesday is sunny and 61. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now, 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of. And you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Schedule an appointment with one of our Missouri or Illinois attorneys. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
One of the things with running is I want to enjoy the run, but I never made it very far because the arches in my feet just killed me. So when I got to the end of my rope and I said I have to do something to get rid of the pain, and a couple people recommended the Good Feet store to me. I loved how I could go in and get a free personalized arch support fitting. They put that time, that work, that effort into helping you find the right arch supports. And you can walk around the store with these in your shoes and try them out before you purchase them. So after I got my arch supports, the arches on my feet stopped hurting and the pain instantly, literally instantly went away. So if you have pain, go. Find a Good Feet store and go. There is an answer. Find the simple solution that will get rid of your pain. I'm Rondi, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Hope your Monday is going well. Annie is out again today. It's Mike Elam sitting in for Annie today. Hope that you are at least starting your week well because it got cold all of a sudden. It was almost 90 degrees on Saturday, and here we sit today. I don't even think we're going to make 60. Feels like I'm on the East Coast, which is where I believe we find Fox Business senior correspondent Charlie Gasparino, who's joining us on the phone. Charlie, where do I find you today? You are in New York, aren't you?
Well, today I'm actually in Miami.
Oh, so Never mind. You're seeing East Coast warm weather. How is it down in Miami after the hurricane went through? Did Miami see a lot of damage?
No, I mean, they had some flooding, I think, but minor. I mean, listen, I was supposed to do 3 conferences to sell my book. I'm pushing a book right now called "Go Woke, Go Broke: The Inside Story of the Radicalization of Corporate America." So I was doing 3 conferences. It got whittled down to 1 because I could get in. Sunday was fine. The airports were fine. The other 2 are going to be rescheduled for next week, for next month, sometime mid-month. But here I am, and it's glorious to be down here.
I'm sure the weather is awfully nice down there today.
Yeah, it's humid because it was raining. So it's but you deal with it. This is quite a town. I mean, I've been coming to Miami. Just a little background on me. I was a news reporter for the Wall Street Journal for 9 years before I went to Newsweek, when Newsweek was a major news magazine. Then I got into TV. But when I covered a lot of financial crimes, and I came to Miami, I think the first time in 1995, 96, and it was just like South Beach was just starting to be part of a renaissance, and now it's like another level.
Wow.
What's going on here? I mean, so I'm staying at the W on Brickell right now. Brickell was kind of a backwater. There was some financial firms, a few things. I mean, it was really, it was sleepy. Now this place is packed. This is like New York, almost. Brickell's the main road alongside the bay before you get to the bridge where you cross to Miami Beach. So it's quite a place down here.
Isn't Miami where you go from New York? Like, isn't there some sort of law that says once you get to a certain age in New York, you have to move to Miami?
Yeah, or move to Florida.
Or move to Florida at least. Exactly. There seems to be a lot of that.
Yeah, I don't know about me, but it's getting crowded down here now, and so but listen, you have good government here. I mean, Ron DeSantis knows what he's doing. The place runs pretty well. There's no income tax. Listen, they got clobbered by that storm, but they're going to get through it because they have people that know what they're doing. I mean, this is not the situation you had in North Carolina where it looked like the public officials were flat-footed and didn't really know how to respond, and then they had to rely on FEMA, which is always a mess. When you have, FEMA's there, right? But when you have competent people on the ground, which Ron DeSantis and his crew are competent, it makes working with FEMA and the federal government's much more easy. It just becomes a different ball game.
We were having the conversation on Friday that I don't know that I've ever seen a governor do a better job of taking charge of a bad situation more than DeSantis has done. He's really led the way.
He's an amazing operational governor. I mean, the guy is going to be a great CEO and make a lot of money if he wants to, if that's what he wants. He didn't do great as a candidate. I mean, there was a part of him which, if you talk to people that dealt with him, I never did. I've never interviewed him. People tell me he's a nice guy when they get to know you. But one thing about Trump, right? When you first meet Trump, whether it's the first time or the 10th time, there's a sort of you could see his charisma. You see a connection. He just does this stuff really well. Like a lot of politicians do that stuff. I mean, Joe Biden, before he lost his mojo, so to speak, used to be very good as being a retail politician.
Yeah.
Mario Cuomo was good at it. Andrew Cuomo, believe it or not, was good at it. I mean, there's politicians have this thing. Ron DeSantis isn't necessarily good at it, but he's good at, in my view, what really matters. And that's governing and operationally running a state. And he doesn't let anybody push him around either, which is another good thing.
I kind of wonder about that from the standpoint of, you think of Trump as a CEO, you think of DeSantis more as a COO, because he understands operations and how to get the most out of everybody.
Yeah, and I think that's what's good about J.D. Vance. I mean, I don't know how you can't be impressed by him. so far. I mean, he's been very good. I mean, first off, the guy is whip smart, and he gets put in these sort of with these aggressive journalists and just eats their lunch every time. I mean, I can't believe they keep interviewing him. One after another gets, they get kicked in the rear end, and then he scores big points. I mean, this thing he did on ABC was pretty remarkable. I mean, He hit him with something, and it didn't even take a second for him to go in for the kill. And he didn't think twice about it. So, J.D. Vance. I mean, the future of the Republican Party is pretty bright between J.D. Vance and Ron DeSantis and even Nikki Haley, and there's a lot of really smart, competent people in this party, and we'll see what happens with this election. I gather my colleague Brett Baer, because I just read it, is going to interview Kamala Harris, which makes me think that her polling is not very good. I mean, if you're her right now and you're ahead, you don't push it, right?
Right.
You basically do your speeches. You maybe do another sit down with Oprah or Oprah Light or Oprah Like. Brett Baer is a really good journalist, and there's a reason why she's doing it. My guess is the reason is that she's losing right now. The momentum, we don't see it maybe in the public polling, but she's got private polling, and I can tell you, I know the people that have the Trump private polling. They're telling me that he's starting to come on now. So this is interesting. The race. It was fascinating that she started doing these interviews, softball interviews, to introduce herself, and the public rejected it. And this is kind of what happened the last time.
Yeah.
When she started getting known in 2019, that's when she started losing. Like, she had that one sort of decent debate performance against Biden. He felt like uncomfortable, hitting back at her when she essentially called him a racist by saying he was for busing or against busing.
Yeah, she was that little girl on that school bus, remember?
Yeah, very... with her PhD and father and, biologist mom, the little girl. But, she scored one. Then the public got to know her and were like, ooh. Then because of a lot of reasons, including the intersectionality needs of the Democratic Party, she becomes the vice president. And now she's, and then when Biden couldn't make it, they went for her, and she's now. I bet they're wondering whether it was like a good move, whether they could have, laughed and Biden. I think with Biden, the whole notion was just to get through those debates with Trump and not. No one thought he would implode that badly. Like, if he imploded half as bad, he'd still be in the race probably.
I agree. We do a live chat poll every day on the show. And it's funny, when you were talking about Kamala, our poll for today is, what has hurt Kamala more, her lack of interviews or her media blitz that she's done, or nothing, she's killing it? And so far, it seems to be pretty well tied between her lack of interviews has hurt her, but to your point, even when she does the softball interviews, like the way she tripped over herself with The View. Can you find a more friendly place if you were Kamala Harris to do an interview than The View? And when they lob up something, what would you do different than Joe Biden? And for her to say, nothing, I can't think of anything. Really? You're trying to separate yourself from his bad economic policies and where the country is, and you're going to say nothing? But she does that every time she does an interview.
You just really wonder about her, and she may be this might be a thing where she's just intellectually lazy. That she really, if you think about, her trajectory, a lot of it was like, she's Willie Brown's girlfriend. He pushes her, inside the California Democratic machine.
Right.
And, she hits a lot of, again, intersectionality. She covers a lot of those bases. So she gets her card stamped in San Francisco. She becomes, again, she's in the machine, and that Democratic machine in California is very much into gender-based almost quotas in terms of who gets what in terms of offices.
Do you check a box?
She checked those boxes. She became she wasn't known for anything specifically as San Francisco DA. She wasn't known for anything specifically as California Attorney General. Didn't do anything great. And then she punched her card. She got the shot at being senator. But you don't get the impression along the way she did anything. I mean, she might have been a good at politicking, the sort of process stuff. But in terms of policy, she just didn't study that stuff. She didn't get into it. And you got to get into it a little bit. I mean, you don't have to be. Bill Clinton was a policy wonk, right? Barack Obama could talk everything, policy and whatever. Yeah, right. You don't even have to be that. That sort of plugged in to policy. Dick Cheney, like him or hate him, understood policy, right?
Right.
You don't have to be that, but she's not even close. Like she has no policy chops, and it comes across when you ask her what would you do differently. She couldn't figure out a policy difference.
We're talking with Charlie Gasparino, Fox Business senior correspondent. It seems like she can't find a connection with people. To your point, you have the people who are the big policy people, and then you have the people like a Trump, a Clinton, a Reagan, Cuomo's, like they ooze that specialness, the it factor, right. I guess, for lack of a better term. She doesn't have that. And when you have to have Barack Obama go out and chastise black men for not supporting this first woman of color president, it really kind of tells you of how bad things are on the Kamala Harris train, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was a low point for Obama. That, and today I saw something about Indigenous Peoples Day that he's celebrating. I guess he doesn't celebrate Columbus Day. Obama. But I just think they're flailing right now. I mean, and that Obama statement, and with the accent, which is not his. I mean, that's not him.
Right.
Barack Obama did not come from the hood. He grew up in Hawaii. He grew up with a white mom, and white grandparents. And this guy does not. I mean, he can adopt an accent, but he doesn't. That's not natural to him. It's not natural to Kamala. And chastising black men in that accent came across to me kind of cheesy and weird.
Well, it's kind of, remember that Hillary Clinton thing when she was doing that, and I don't mean no ways tired. I was like, what? What are you doing? You're a white woman from New York. What are you doing?
I'd be embarrassed to talk like that. I mean, it's embarrassing.
It's the thing when you start talking about one of the big selling points these days, and I think this is kind of a sad commentary on just the state of where we are as a people, but being authentic is the thing that people are looking for more than anything else these days. And Kamala Harris, number one, it just can't be authentic because to your earlier point, when she is, people don't like her.
I don't think she ever – I mean, I don't know much about her. Maybe that's – a friend of mine is an investment banker who focused on munis over the municipal bond deals in California. So he had to deal with Kamala Harris because if you're the AG of the state, that you play a role in the selling of state bonds. I think you actually even play a role in, who you're selecting the underwriter. So this guy got to know her. He said something interesting to me. He goes, don't underestimate her because – she's got a ruthless streak. But, and this is a huge but, she is not – she just – there's something missing there that, she doesn't have natural charisma and she doesn't have the policy chops to make up for it. Like she doesn't immerse – I mean, she's not interested in governing. Like you get the impression that – I listened to Trump talk economic policy recently. I was in New York at the Economic Club in New York. And, say what you want about Trump. He's crazy. And, his rallies are like out there. Right. But, I mean, he gave this speech where he granularly got into like his economic policy. He was talking about tariffs, how he's going to use them. he was talking about how they're going to take down the corporate tax rate, why, how certain companies are going to benefit from much lower corporate taxes if you domicile more jobs here. I mean, he got into some of the nitty gritty. It was impressive. I mean, he gets that. I had an interesting conversation with Mark Cuban recently.
Okay.
And I said, why can't you just articulate an economic plan? Well, you're asking too much of her. She didn't know she was getting the job until like a couple months ago. I said, Mark, she was vice president for 4 years. What the hell was she doing? What was she doing? 4 years. I mean, you would think she'd get involved in some stuff like, when you're vice president, you got access to, great information. People tell you stuff, you got a staff, they brief you. I mean, you can't read up a little bit?
You would think that she's been getting the economic briefings as well. Hey, Charlie, before I let you get out of here, where do you think, 22 days away, where do you think this is going to end up? Do you think Trump's going to pull this out, or do you think we're in for some other October surprise between now and then that could change things?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think what the internal polls, Trump, what I don't understand is why the internal polls are so much different than these public polls, but then they'll tell you that, well, you pay more for the internal polls. Okay, I got that. But, is there really a silent Trump majority out there? If there is, he's won this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is. I think the internal polls are assuming that there are people that won't admit they're voting for Trump.
That seems to have been the point all the way through. I mean, it was true in 16. It was true in 20. You would expect that it's going to be true here.
We'll see. If it is, it's over.
Yeah.
Just based on the trends and where stuff is going and how close it is and on places where she should win, I think then it's done. If not, well, I mean, she can win. I mean, anything's possible. But they are hyper confident over in Trump land. And they think things are breaking her way. And the one thing that makes me think that they're right is that she's doing this interview with Bret Baier.
Yeah, that definitely is not going to be something that she wanted to do. That's something she feels she is forced to do. It's kind of her Hail Mary pass at this point, it seems like.
Seems like to me, too.
That's Charlie Gasparino. Charlie, the new book is called Go Woke or Go Broke. Can we get that on Amazon, I assume?
Oh, yeah. Bookstores, Amazon. I'll even sign it for you if you sell me the money.
What a guy. Hey, have fun down there in Miami. Safe travels. I look forward to seeing you on Fox Business again.
You got it. Thank you, sir.
That is Charlie Gasparino. He's a Fox Business senior correspondent, New York Post columnist. Go Woke or Go Broke is the name of the new book. And we're going to talk a little bit about elections and get into a little local stuff of what's going on. Kurt Barr, who's the director of elections out in St. Charles County, is going to join us. So we're going to talk a little bit more about what does he expect in these next 22 days and how is early voting going so far? Is it catching on a little bit more? We'll find out more when we talk to Kurt. It's Mike Elam sitting in for Andy Fry today on St. Louis's home for conservative talk, 97.1 FM Talk.
No one could steer me right, but Mama tried to raise me better, but her pleading eye denied that liaison.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
So this new dose is, well, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
This is Fred Bottomer. Mark Reardon and Sue Thomas are back on Monday. Join us from 3 to 6 p.m. for all the latest presidential campaign news, as Election Day is just about 3 weeks away.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
It's the Annie Fry Show. Mike Elam sitting in for Annie Fry today. Thanks to Ethan and John for helping out as well and keeping the wheels on the bus as they go round and round. YouTube live chat poll. We want to know from you. What do you think? Here's your question of the day. What has hurt Kamala more? Her lack of interviews, her media blitz, or nothing? She's killing it. I think we can agree. She's not killing it, but right now it's kind of neck and neck to see, some people are saying her lack of interviews, her Joe Biden, I'm going to hide in the basement mentality wasn't working out, it seemed like. So now they're putting her out there to do friendly interviews with The View and Oprah and places like that. And she still keeps tripping over her shoes on that one. So who knows where she's going to end up. But I do know we're about 22 days away from Election Day. And a lot of folks are going to vote on that day. But early voting is going to start 2 weeks before that. Absentee voting is going on now. So I wanted to kind of see, how are things going? How are these results comparing to others that we've seen? So I reached out to my friend Kurt Barr, who's the Election Authority Director in St. Charles County. Kurt, thanks for hanging out today.
Hey, Mike, thanks for letting me come on.
By all means, man. It's always good to talk to you. I know you always have your finger on the pulse of what's going on with elections, but you just had some big news about how many registered voters are in St. Charles County that you put out the other day.
Yeah, St. Charles County just hit 300,000 registered voters before the deadline to register last week, and that is a mark for our county. It also puts us in like the top 2%.
Your phone's breaking up on me a little bit. Can you get closer to the window?
I will get. Yeah. How's this? Is this better?
Hey, that's beautiful. So you just crossed 300,000, and that puts you where?
That puts us number 2 in the state, and within 2% of all of the election jurisdictions across the country. So most counties are obviously smaller than St. Charles, right, and most counties have much fewer voters than St. Charles County. So it's just an indication of just how fast and how large St. Charles County has grown.
What do you think is driving the new voters to come out? Do you think it's the Trump factor, or what do you think's doing it?
Well, as far as the new people registering, there's always excitement for a presidential election. We saw this with the Obama elections back in 2008. We saw this when Trump was first running. And so this is just an issue of people who don't typically get engaged recognize that a presidential election is important, and they want to make sure that they are registered so that they can vote Election Day.
So how are you seeing so far on the absentee voting? I get to look at your parking lot from my window across the street on a regular basis, and it seems like you have some pretty regular traffic, but how are the numbers going?
Yeah, we're averaging about 400 people a day, and that's about a third of what we saw in 2020. So it's a lot more than other elections, but certainly a lot less than what we saw during the COVID pandemic when people were concerned about lines on Election Day.
So any idea in terms of like groups that are coming out, or are they older folks? Are they across the board? You seeing any kind of trends?
Honestly, it's across the board. I mean, I see young people who are coming in voting for the first time. I see a lot of elderly people. Right now, for the next week, we have the absentee voting, and so there is supposed to be a reason why you can't vote Election Day. And so generally, it's people who are going to be traveling, or college kids who are home for fall break. They're going to be on Election Day. But starting next Tuesday, October 22nd, that's when the 2 weeks of early voting begins, the no excuse in-person absentee voting. And any voter can come to the Election Authority office or the satellite location that we have at Elam Church. And at that time, they can just come in, vote just like they would Election Day, put their ballot in the ballot counter, and be on their way. And the process flows just like Election Day.
So what are the hours that they can do that at your two locations?
So at the Election Authority office at Highway 79 and Interstate 70, we're open from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. And then the 2 Saturdays before the election will be open also 8:30 to 4:30 for voters there. The Elam Church satellite location, starting October 22nd, they're going to be open from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. They a little bit shorter hours, and they are not open on the Saturdays. So if you need to vote on a Saturday, come to the Election Authority office. But if you live on the western half of the county, then Elam Church from 9 to 3, that's where you can go and cast your ballot before Election Day.
Libby Luhu was just asking me online, are we past the absentee ballot request window, or can you still do that?
Ballots by mail can be requested up until Wednesday the 23rd. Now, I encourage all voters, if you're going to ask for a ballot by mail, please ask for it as soon as possible, because we have to rely on the Postal Service to get it to you and then get it back from you. But we've been mailing ballots for the last 3 weeks now, and we've mailed out about 6,000 ballots, which is about a third to a fourth the number we saw in 2020, but certainly a lot more than we see in the August election.
So I assume you have the opportunity to talk to other election authorities around the state. What are they seeing so far? What are you guys gearing up for at this point?
Well, across the state, we're seeing lower turnout for absentee voting, fewer ballot by mail requests, fewer in-person absentee voters. So we're expecting either the 2 weeks before the election to be busier, or we're expecting to see a busy election. And it's probably going to be a little bit of both. So Election Day, you can expect to see a line. But, I think in St. Charles County, we've got a good system set up that line should move quickly, and, voters shouldn't have to have a excessive wait at any of their polling places.
So we just had the primary back in August. How was primary turnout compared to years past?
Primary turnout, we were about 30%, and that's about average for a August turnout. For whatever reason, voters just don't see those August elections as being important, even though in St. Charles County, the people who won in August, a lot of them are unopposed in November. And so the August election really was the primary election, the significant election.
Which is kind of surprising, isn't it? I mean, you're seeing it. I guess it works the same. If you're in the city, the primary is really your election for city voters. If you're in St. Charles, for the most part, I mean, our demographics are changing as people flee the city and come to St. Charles. But out there, it's really more of the Republican primary. It's kind of surprising that more people wouldn't vote in the primary, isn't it?
I think so. We try to get the word out to voters, letting them know where their polling place is, when the election is. But voters, they can choose to participate or not participate in the election. But I do think that this November 5th, a lot of people are going to choose to participate because they see the presidential election as being, significant to, their future.
So when you look at the November election, there are an awful lot of things that are on this ballot. How long is your ballot this year?
So the ballot is 17 inches front and back. That is a long ballot. And the back half of the ballot are the 5 constitutional amendment changes that offered by initiative petition, and then the 1 statute change offered by the state legislature. And then in St. Charles County, 3 local jurisdictions also have a ballot measure. So depending on where you live, you may or may not see a fire board issue or an annexation issue on the ballot as well. And then, of course, we have the judge retention questions. Our appellate justices and our Supreme Court justices, stand to be retained every so often. And then we have all of the 11th Circuit judges, the federal positions, the state positions, and then the county council positions.
Wow, that is a lot to get through. So I know you and I have talked before about this. When you run into elections like a presidential election, which gets a lot of attention, and people want to vote for president, and they come out and they may be an every 4-year voter, what percentage of those, and you may not know this, so sorry for asking you unprepared, but what percent of those voters just go in and mark president and they really don't get to much of anything else?
So that does happen, but there isn't really a way for me to know that without physically looking at every single ballot.
Makes sense.
Now, you can see that in the election results, the number of votes cast for president is going to be higher than, say, the votes cast for the Secretary of State race, even though all the same voters could vote for one or the other. Or if you look at the judges who are unopposed, fewer people are going to fill in a bubble for an unopposed judge than they will for the president. But how many of those people are just not voting for an unopposed person, and how many of them are just voting top of ticket and just leaving the rest of the ballot blank? That's a hard thing to know just by looking at the election results.
We're talking with Kurt Barr, who's the Election Authority Director in St. Charles County. Are you hearing about any particular things that are going on with elections around the state, like anything that your other election authority directors are looking at? Maybe they're trying something different with this election?
Well, one thing that a lot of the election authorities are doing, actually, it was the St. Charles County Communications Office put together a beautiful at-a-glance election flyer that's on our website, and it has all the information about the opportunities for the 2 weeks of early voting and what the issues are that are going to be on the ballot. And that I shared with the election clerks from across the state, and a lot of them have copied that and are sharing that same information to their constituents. What we're trying to do is just make sure that people understand what their options are. If they can't vote Election Day, how they can either ask for an absentee ballot by mail or how they can come to the election authority office the 2 weeks before the 2 weeks before an election and cast a ballot. And so we're just trying to be as engaged with the public as possible so that they know what their options are so they can be able to come in and cast their ballot, because the job of the election authority is to help the voters to be able to get their ballot and cast that ballot.
It's a really cool piece, and it breaks it down: federal offices, initiative petitions, St. Charles County, legislative, statewide, and judicial offices. So kudos to you for putting that out there. We were talking with somebody earlier about Constitutional Amendment 3 and all the different things that are there, because with a lot of these initiative petition things, people generally know the headlines. They don't really understand all the different things and sort of what I'll call the meat and the potatoes of these ballot issues when they first walk in. Is there a good source that you would lead people to say, hey, if you want to find out the full breadth of what Amendment 2 or 6 or 7, what they really say, where would you send people to get more information?
Yeah, so first I'll say that at every polling place, there will be this very large poster that has the language of how the Constitution would be amended or how the statute would be amended for these ballot measures. And so that will be up at every polling place. But I encourage voters to, research that before Election Day. So you can either go to the St. Charles County Election Authority website, or you can go to the Secretary of State website. And from there, you can see what we call the fair ballot language, which is the more broad summary of the ballot measures. And you can also find the link and click on and see exactly how the new language would affect the Constitution or affect the statute. And so you can read that, see what's added, see what's deleted, to see how it would actually read. And so that's available on the Secretary of State website, and it's linked at the Election Authority website in St. Charles.
So we're 22 days out from Election Day. Any advice that you would give to voters to make the experience as good as it can possibly be?
One, check on these ballot measures and the candidates running that will be on your ballot and decide how you want to vote so that you can vote as quickly as possible. Two, if you have the opportunity, come to the Election Authority office the 2 weeks before the election or the satellite location at Elam Church and go ahead and avoid the lines Election Day and vote early. But three is that, Election Day will be busy, but give yourself time. Make sure that you can get to your polling place and assume 30 minutes to an hour to stand in line and to be able to cast your ballot. And then give yourself that time so that you don't see a line out the door and say it's not worth it. Because that's the one thing I never want for a voter to do, is to show up at a polling place and see a line and go, I don't have time for it. So give yourself time. And, of course, bring your photo ID, because that is the one thing in Missouri that you have to vote is your photo ID.
Well, Kurt, we appreciate you taking the time. Good luck with everything. I know this is like your Super Bowl, presidential election time. It's the time when you've got all hands on deck. So I wish the best to you, to your staff, and to the election authority judges. People, I would say this as a public service message, and I bet Kurt will echo this. Be nice to your election authority judges. These folks are out there trying to help you. So be nice to our election authority judges. They're doing the best they can to help you with the process. Is that fair?
That is fair, and I couldn't say it any better.
Well, I appreciate it. Kurt, good luck with everything, and we will check in with you probably after the election for sure, but maybe before.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
That is Kurt Barr, the Election Authority Director at St. Charles County. They do have a really nice piece that they put out about the November 5th general election, just talking about everything that's on the ballot. You got a lot in there, and I would highly encourage you, if you can go vote early. I was there for the primary, and, man, I walked in probably a week before elections, and there was nobody in line. You just walk right up. They give you the exact same ballot that you're going to have. They check your stuff. I was in and out in no time. But you're going to need some time to read through all of this stuff. Take the time, get informed, so you walk in as an educated voter. But let's be honest, this is a 97.1 audience. You guys are pretty informed on everything that's going on. So I know, like I said on Friday, I know when I say stuff like that, I'm preaching to the choir, but we appreciate you. It's Mike Elam sitting in for Annie Fry today on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
When you're shopping for windows, make sure that you use WindowWorldSTLewis.com to help you make a smart decision. The windows that are simply the best for less, you're going to find those windows at Window World. They come with a lifetime warranty, and that lifetime warranty, it applies to glass breakage, parts, and labor. And you can trust the people of Window World, your neighbors that are right here in St. Louis, to give you a product to provide you the service that is going to last. It's going to stand the test of time, and you're going to feel good having invested in it. Like I said, go online to WindowWorldSTLewis.com for more information on how you can get the process started for that free in-home estimate. And if you call 314-993-1800, that's 314-993-1800, mention the Annie Fry Show, and you will then be entered to win 4 tickets to the St. Louis Blues this season from Window World. 314-993-1800. If you can go online, you can learn all about Window World, schedule that free in-home estimate just by visiting them at WindowWorldSTLewis.com.
Ready to turn your home into a digital racetrack? Buckle up for i3 Broadband's advanced whole home Wi-Fi. Picture this: lightning-fast internet in every nook and cranny. No dead zones, no lag, just pure connectivity. Whether you're binge-watching in the living room or video calling from the basement. All with no contracts, no hidden fees, just insane speeds. Plus our no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee. Hit us up at 877-976-0711 or zoom over to i3broadband.com/STL. We're local, reliable, and turbocharging your internet life.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 5-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
Do you have $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 in debt? Then listen to this. You may not be required to pay it all back.
I was drowning in debt.
I had over $36,000 in debt.
If I would have just made the minimum payments, it would have taken me 59 years to pay off.
Whether it's credit card, medical, or personal loan debt, National Debt Relief can help significantly reduce what you owe. In fact, debt relief payments can be 50% less than your monthly credit card payments. That's right, half as much as you're paying now.
National Debt Relief reduced my debt by over $27,000.
With National Debt Relief, you have a powerful team that knows how to talk to your creditors.
National Debt Relief, they got me out of debt.
More than 550,000 Americans have used National Debt Relief to reduce their debt. Call 800-649-6464 to see if you qualify to settle your debt for a fraction of what you owe. 800-649-6464. That's 800-649-6464.
Hey, it's Bo Matthews for Beast Plumbing, and if you need a new water heater like today, maybe it just went out, send them a picture of your water heater for an estimate, and you could have same-day service. Call 314-500-LEAK and find them online at BEISplumbing.com.
The YouTube live chat poll: what has hurt Kamala more during her presidential campaign? Her lack of interviews, her media blitz, or nothing? She's killing it. Scott Vaughn coming up next. The time is 1:52. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Jerry Kelly MikeKehoe.com.
Mark Cox here. I have put together my 2024 general election voters guide with you in mind. The direction of our nation and our state is in your hands now. Visit 971talk.com to see the Mark Cox 2024 voter guide.
Hang on, Snoopy, Snoopy, hang on. Hang on, Snoopy.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show.
It's Mike Elam sitting in for Annie Fry today. Hope your Monday is going well. I'm still trying to get used to, I know I keep saying this all day, but it's kind of the hot bug. When we change temperature times of a year, sometimes I go well with that, sometimes I don't. And I was not ready for it to be 58 degrees for a high today. I was ready for it to still be warm. Scott Vaughn is hanging out with us today. We're going to talk to Scott quite a bit more after the top of the hour, but just wanted to say hi.
So thank you so much for having me.
Sorry that I should have told Ethan that you were going to talk in that way. There you go. It's better now that people can hear you.
Well, thanks so much for having me, Mike. Your voice is the perfect radio voice. I haven't been intimidated, been on the radio in a while, but I'm a little intimidated.
I appreciate the fact that you had me on your show on the F-150 tour back for the primary. How many miles did you drive for that? Because you had to just drive the wheels off that truck.
Right around 12,000 we put on. And we're fixing to fire up. We're going to start off this coming Friday. We'll start off again over in Kansas City for the F-150 tour. Kicks off. It'll run all the way through Election Day.
You'll hit like 3, 4, 5 cities in a day, won't you?
Oh, yeah. Well, in rural Missouri, we call them towns. So we might hit a town or two. But, yeah, it'll be it's always fun. I always say, sometimes I get in the habit of staying in Jeff City in my little world, thinking I know everything. Well, you go have a beer in Marshall, Missouri, then you go have one at Stan's in South City, and you're going to actually hear what folks think. It's funny. Mike, I think people like to talk about politics a little bit. Now, not too much.
Right.
They like to share their views. If you ask them in a good way and you buy them a beer, you can learn a lot about what the people of Missouri think for the bargain price of a Bud Light.
You didn't make it to Oktoberfest in St. Charles, did you?
I did not make it this year.
The Faust family wanted you to come because after when we did that down in Frontier Park in St. Charles, and you were singing the praises of Oktoberfest, and it was awesome this year, by the way. They wanted you to come so bad.
I tell you, it is the best in the state. In Jeff City, we like to tease St. Charles folks a little bit, but one thing you cannot tease St. Charles folks about, that Oktoberfest is off the chain. I've heard from Lee Summit people trying to say, no, I've heard from Soulard people. No, you can do everything and family stuff at the Oktoberfest in Soulard, or in St. Charles. It is the top of the top.
Well, I appreciate that, and I know they do as well. And I know Friday, they were really worried because it poured on Friday. And they're like, oh, Lord. And that's an event where you are completely weather dependent, right?
Yes.
But people saved up on Friday and showed up on Saturday. And, man, did they burn through some beer. The
German way.
They went through more kegs at Oktoberfest this year, I think, than they ever had. And you really lost a day, and they still burned through all of it. I was there with Rotary on Sunday, Rotary in Cottleville Weldon Spring Chamber. I was pouring Sunday morning, and we had a line that folks showed up. Because you know the old joke, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
You got to start in the morning. That's exactly right.
Words of wisdom.
That should be a German proverb, really, right there.
I think it should. So that is Scott Vaughn. We're going to talk with Scott more on the other side. I was going to play you some clips from J.D. Vance because Charlie Gasparino talked about it a little bit of how well J.D. Vance does in dealing with these reporters who want to try to call him on the carpet. And Martha from ABC tried to do that on Sunday, and J.D. just took her to the woodshed on the whole thing. So we'll probably play some of that as we get into the 2 o'clock hour. But it's Mike Elam sitting in for Annie Fry today. We appreciate the fact that we're part of your Monday. Scott Vaughn, we're going to talk a little Missouri politics on the other side on 97.1 FM Talk.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home, the brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25-RHINO.com.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. As a business owner in these uncertain economic times, you struggle to guard your life's work against unexpected challenges. But can it withstand the sudden disruption of a divorce? When your hard-earned work is at risk, count on our experience and advocacy in handling these matters at Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of our Missouri or Illinois attorneys. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
When you bought your home, you took on more than just a house payment. You spend weekends on upkeep. Repairs drain your bank account. And with your equity locked up, you can't do anything. You love your home and want to stay, but it's a constant struggle. What if you could sell your home, reclaim your weekends, and not have to move? You can with Truehold's Sell and Stay program. Truehold will buy your home now while the market is high. You can bank all that equity in cash and stay in your home with a lease. Plus, you won't have to worry about property taxes, insurance, or upkeep anymore. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Join thousands that have secured their retirement, paid off bills, and financed their dreams. Get an offer now while the market is hot. Call 1-855-300-9993. That number again is 1-855-300-9993. Or visit Truehold.com to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com. Don't wait. Call now. 1-855-300-9993. Or visit Truehold.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. New Perspective is just opening. I had the chance to take a tour and meet the staff. I got to tell you, this place is amazing. They offer state-of-the-art independent or assisted living as well as memory care. Imagine your loved one enjoying delicious meals, activities, entertainment, and even an AI fall detection system. New Perspective Senior Living of Weldon Spring is redefining senior living. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today. That's npseniorliving.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The campaign cash is flowing. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. 22 days to Election Day, about $60 million is being spent every weekday by both parties combined on ads alone.
Generally speaking, Democrats, especially in the Senate and the presidential race, are outspending Republicans by hundreds of millions of dollars. And contrary to Vice President Harris' ads, she has more billionaires than Trump. In fundraising, Harris has a 2-to-1 edge over Trump, outspending him in 12 of the last 13 weeks.
Fox's William Lajeunesse. Nationally, the race remains nearly a dead heat in recent polls, while former President Trump leads the Real Clear Politics average in 6 of 7 battleground states, also by very tight margins. Both Harris and Trump campaign in Pennsylvania today. Over the weekend, a man was arrested with guns at a checkpoint outside a Trump rally in California.
The Riverside County Sheriff in California, Chad Bianco, he says 49-year-old suspect Vem Miller. They looked inside of his car and they found an illegal loaded handgun and shotgun, a high-capacity magazine, multiple passports and driver's licenses in various names. His license plate was also fake. Miller was arrested on state misdemeanor weapons charges and then released. Now, the Secret Service says Miller never got to their security perimeter and the former president was not in danger. The feds are not calling it a third assassination attempt, but the investigation is ongoing.
Fox's Brian Yanes, the suspect, tells Fox News Digital he's a Trump supporter and has never fired a gun. Rapper Sean Diddy Combs facing a new wave of lawsuits, at least 6 filed today by 2 women and 4 men over allegations of sexual misconduct. Combs remains in jail, facing federal charges of sex trafficking and other counts, which he denies. One of the new accusers says the hip-hop star molested him when he was 16, the first allegation involving a child. America is listening to Fox News.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive.
So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Did you know every 3 seconds someone is a victim of identity theft? LifeLock wants to give you helpful tips to protect your identity this Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Adding multi-factor authentication, like a text with a security code, is one way to boost your security. But for comprehensive protection, trust LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal info and steps in to resolve issues that arise, guaranteed or your money back. Protect yourself with a 30-day free trial at lifelock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Mostly sunny skies, 59-60 for the high. Tonight, some clouds, a quick drop through the 50s for evening plans, 42 for the low. Tuesday, sunny and cool, but light winds on Tuesday, 59-60. Tuesday night, clear, down to 35, a light frost away from the city. Late Tuesday night into first thing Wednesday morning. Wednesday is sunny and 61. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hi, Charles Payne here at one of the exciting Money Show events where I'm presenting the keynote, broadcasting my live TV show, and best of all, giving away free copies of my newest book, Unbreakable Investor. It's a $29.95 value, but if you act now, I'll give you one too.
For your free copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unbreakable Investor, text WIN to 505-505 and just cover shipping. Text WIN to 505-505. Text WIN to 505-505.
I'm handing you my investing playbook, 348 pages on how I personally invest to target the biggest returns while mitigating risk. It's how I've been with the market so I never break. Guidance so crucial for today's investors that I'm covering the cost of the book and giving you a copy for free.
To get your free copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unbreakable Investor, text the word WIN to 505-505 and just cover shipping. Text WIN to 505-505 while supplies last. Text WIN to 505-505 right now.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at ThrottleNet, and you've probably heard George Rosenthal from ThrottleNet on the show. He's a technology whiz, and George and his team can educate you and your business on the dangers lurking with technology. Here's a unique opportunity along those lines. Does your company have a lunch and learn or guest speakers? For a limited time, ThrottleNet is providing free lunch and learns to provide cybersecurity awareness training. One click can cause a ton of damage to your business. ThrottleNet is determined to make sure that doesn't happen. And if it does, they're the cybersecurity experts who can help. ThrottleNet is known for high customer satisfaction, averaging 99% happiness with over 35,000 surveys. They have an industry-leading response time of less than 2 minutes. And no clients of ThrottleNet have ever paid ransom as a result of a cyber attack. Contact ThrottleNet at throttlenet.com/971 and we can schedule your free company lunch. Don't miss out. Find out more today about ThrottleNet at throttlenet.com/971.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
You can help those affected by this disastrous hurricane season by visiting redcross.org or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. Message and data rates apply. Together, we can help those who've been affected. Thanks for helping. Conservatives care on 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
It is Mike Elam sitting in for Annie Fry today on 97.1 FM Talk. You know, it's unusual that I get the opportunity to have a guest in the studio. Normally somebody's on the phone with me. But today I get to do it twice. We had Brian Westbrook, who was here, who's the executive director and the founder of Coalition Life. Scott Vaughn is in the studio with us. How are you, man?
I'm great. It's so great to be in here with you. It just worked out perfectly on this Columbus Day to get to come in.
I love the fact that you were in town and it's like, hey, come in, let's talk. Because I know a lot of times on Annie's show, they do a lot of national politics, and I appreciate that. And that's kind of the thing that on 97.1, when you're a conservative talk radio station and Donald Trump is the nominee, you're going to talk a lot of federal politics. And I know Josh Hawley is making the rounds around the state right now. I just talked to Sam Safa, his campaign guy, before I came down here, and they're going to do a rally in St. Charles on Wednesday. They were just at Cottleville.
I saw Harrison Buckner.
Harrison Buckner was there with them.
Right.
Yep. So they were.
He also came from Cottleville down to my neck of the woods in Poplar Bluff.
He did. He's trying to do the F-150 tour on his own.
I love it.
He's going to have a Holly bus before long. He'll be following Kehoe around, which we got the chance to start the show.
If you're going to follow Kehoe around, you better put some gas in that thing. That dude gets around. Now, man, I like to think I get around. I don't get around half of what Kehoe does.
So he is he's down in Osage County today. At least he was there around lunch. I shouldn't say today. That's where he was around lunch. So I was watching your show this weekend, and I love the fact that you were checking in with Republican senators and Democrat folks of seeing, hey, where are these races going to go? And we had some hot Senate races I want to talk a little bit about.
The hottest one's right here.
It really is in Senate 15. But before we get to that, Crystal Quade's a nice lady.
Mm-hmm. She is.
I just don't see her having a snowball's chance of beating Mike Kehoe.
I'll tell you, Crystal Quade is an extremely competent person. She's very liberal, so if you're not very liberal, you probably should not vote for her. But Crystal Quade is the type of person that, as a Republican, I'm going to vote for Mike Kehoe. You see all these other people in the media, they'll tell you all this, oh, I'm this and this. No, I just tell you how the cabbage, you can dislike it. I voted for Kehoe in August. I'm going to vote for Kehoe in November. But I'll tell you this, if Crystal Quade becomes governor, as a Republican, I will tell you, a person who does not share my political beliefs will be governor, but a competent person will be governor. And she could competently do the job. But yes, nobody could beat Mike Kehoe. He's the bull of the woods. The fact of the matter is, the Democrats should have all voted for a different candidate because Mike Kehoe will win by a landslide. Nobody can beat Mike Kehoe in the state of Missouri. And he will actually be the guy that goes and negotiates, not on Twitter, not on Facebook, one-on-one. And there's going to be a lot of champagne popping for the huge Republican things that are going to happen because he knows how to actually accomplish stuff.
You know, we were talking about off-air the primary and how Bill Eigel overperformed where people thought he was. I mean, I remember when he was polling at 2, 3, 4%, and Ashcroft was beating Kehoe by 20. And we're like, man, this race is all but over, right? Ashcroft's going to win this thing. Mike Kehoe drove the wheels off the bus, literally, going all around the state. But so did Bill Eigel. And Bill Eigel went from that 2, 3, 4 up to 33 and had a great showing. But I think when it came down to it, Kehoe he just has the it factor.
He does.
And when he is with a crowd, and I don't care if I've been in crowds with him that's a small room of folks, and I got a chance to MC an event at Hunter Farms that had 350 people there. And I would tell you, he can fit any room with the message that he has and the way that he comes across. He is genuinely likable.
You know who he reminds me of? And I've been in every type of room with Mike Kehoe. He reminds me of Tony La Russa in the sense that if you did not know baseball, you weren't even a baseball fan, if you walked into a luncheon and Tony La Russa was there, the way he carried himself, the charisma he had, you would know that's a big deal. You might not know who Tony La Russa was, but you would know
he's somebody.
Tony La Russa is a big deal. Mike Kehoe, now that he's governor, everybody will see it be a big deal. But even when he was a state senator, whatever, when he walks into a room, you know, okay, I don't know what that guy does, but I'll bet he's a big deal.
Right. You get that feeling. I agree. There are some people who walk into a room and you just instantly know, okay, I don't know anything about you, but I can tell you're a powerful person. I just feel it radiate off of you.
And, David Gregory, I do think you have to be a little older to really have that gravitas.
Yeah.
But David Gregory, the Senate candidate out in West County, is the type of guy that has some of that charisma. He's got some of that it factor. It is an interesting thing. St. Louis County has sent this state many great politicians. I don't know. Missouri's favorite son, no question, is Eric Schmidt.
Yep.
He's the most popular public servant in this state, sent to this state by the folks in St. Louis County. I think they have a chance to send another one in David Gregory.
So how do you see that race going? So we're talking about Senate District 15. It's out in West County. Andrew Koenig is the senator there right now. He's terming out. But that is one of the top 3 hottest races for the Senate going on in the state of Missouri, wouldn't you think?
I'll give you my background. There's one in Clay County where the Clay Como Ford plant is, leans Democrat. The Republicans have a great candidate in Jerry Nolte. He's the guy that even Democrats vote for because he's just that dude. Is that
the former John Rizzo seat?
That's the Lauren Arthur seat across the river.
Okay.
If it wasn't for Jerry Nolte, that seat would be gone to the Democrats. He's the one Republican that could win it. Then south of the river, the old Ronnie DePasco, Victor Callahan, Rizzo seat, the seat you never thought would be Republican, it looks like it's going to be Republican.
Wow.
If you had to guess, Independence is Republican, Clay County, which used to be Republican, is Democrat, and all of the heat is in St. Louis County. Because I'll tell you, on Amendment 3, which is really that's probably the top thing on the ballot in Missouri.
I agree. Yep.
The intensity on the pro Amendment 3 side is right here in the St. Louis media market. Kansas City's going to vote for Amendment 3. Outstate Missouri's not. St. Louis is going to vote for it, but it's going to be intense. And that's led the Democrats to put their spending. They have a very good recruit in Joe Peerless, very respected guy. To me, David Gregory, if you want to make a difference in this election, go out to Chesterfield, knock doors for David Gregory. Maybe do a little Amendment 3 while you're out there. But this is the epicenter of politics, is right here, right in St. Louis County, in 15. It will be the one that determines if the Republicans hold or lose a seat. And it's a big deal. They'll lose their supermajority, and they'll lose it right here in St. Louis. But on the flip side, David Gregory is a very talented politician. He looks like $1 million. He's very charismatic. If you want to,
he's good at raising money.
I will tell you this: it's like if you could wind the clock back to 2008. If today you could say, you know what, I'll give a Saturday or I'll give a couple afternoons knocking doors for Eric Schmidt. If you could go back in time and do that in 2008, you probably would have.
Yep.
If you want a similar trajectory, similar quality of politician, take a couple nights or a Saturday and go knock for David Gregory, and 10, 15 years from now, I guarantee you'll be glad you did.
How close do you think this Senate majority is going to be? Do you think they're going to keep the supermajority, or do you think
St. Louis County will tell the tale? I mean,
is it really that close?
Amendment 3 is, let's just be honest, it is a drag on Republicans.
It is.
Republicans have won areas that probably should be Democratic because the Republican Party in the state's so strong, their fundraising is so strong. Pardon me, but I think if you just extrapolate forward, this is the epicenter. And frankly, if the Democrats would have got a stronger candidate in the 23rd, if you look at their voting trends, the 23rd is the city of St. Charles in eastern St. Charles County. It's about 3 cycles behind the 15th. The 15th, this county is trending more Democrat, and I think the way you're going to be able to tell, will there be anybody still representing St. Louis County, except for obviously Ben Brown and Eureka.
Right.
But this is the last one, and I think if you're a business person, you want a member of the majority party in the state Senate you can go to for things. And the only way to have one, the last ability to have one, is David Gregory out in Chesterfield.
So step back to state for a while. We've already talked about the governor's race, and I agree. I think Kehoe's going to run away with this thing.
Yeah.
Is there going to be any other competition at any other statewide office, or is this going to be a Republican sweep?
Republican sweep. I mean, Andrew Bailey's a bulletproof tiger.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy stood down $15 million of New York money and won every county in the state. Andrew Bailey's a guy you're probably going to be voting for 8 years from now. He is just, do yourself a favor. If you get a chance to go out and meet Andrew Bailey at something, go out and meet a guy that's probably the next governor. Go make it a point to go meet him. Don't let the Post-Dispatch tell you about what he does. Go meet him for yourself. He does come to things.
He does.
And you could meet Andrew Bailey, and you get that picture for the Me With wall. He may not be on your wall yet, but I think he will be. I think the Republicans are having a major sweep. You have Vivek Malik, a St. Louis County guy, right here. I think he'll do very well. I don't think there'll be any problems. David Wassinger's a St. Louis County guy running for lieutenant governor. I don't think there'll be any problems in the fall, but I would, encourage everyone, if you want to actually make a difference, more than just complaining on Facebook, get with David Gregory's campaign. That is the fight. That is where the heat and the battle in this state is on Amendment 3 in St. Louis County and the Senate 15 in St. Louis County.
How do you see these amendments going? I mean, you got a lot of them on the ballot.
I think Amendment 7, I almost wish they would have saved that for 2026, simply because that's a turnout thing. It really doesn't change anything, but it's a good to get people fired up and turned out to the polls.
So for folks who don't know Amendment 7.
7's about only citizens voting and then ranked choice voting, some of those things. The Amendment 2 is sports betting. Now, that's an interesting, I don't know how that's going to go. You have the casinos are fighting amongst themselves. Caesars wants a better cut. The other casinos are willing to take what's on the table. So you have two well-funded campaigns. If you've watched a football game Sunday, you saw
a lot of them.
Yeah, you got to see teachers arguing in different commercials of what this is going to do.
Right.
I don't care where they spend the tax revenue, if you want the truth. I'd like to be able to bet on the Chiefs when I want to bet on the Chiefs.
I don't think that where the tax money is going is a determining factor for most people who are going to vote for this.
Most people don't believe it anyway.
Right. I think we've all been down that road with the lottery. Yep. And we all kind of went to that thing and went, okay, this was all going to go to help our schools. And then you had a shell game that happened that we all know. And I don't think people believe that now. So I think, and then you've got the whole thing that depending on how they want to structure it, they could take a loss and there's no money that's there. But I think what's driving people is you have an awful lot of people who want a sports bet in the state of Missouri, especially younger voters. Young men want to vote for this. They want to sports bet.
Here's my frustration, Mike. I hear all these people, and I hear it a lot in your neck of the woods. Yep. They believe in liberty.
Right.
They believe in freedom. But a lot of those people only believe in liberty and freedom if it's stuff they think you should be doing. Like, I actually think if you want to go bet on the Chiefs, how is it my business what you do?
I'm with you.
It was kind of like to me in pot. I didn't care, but I'm like, I don't know who I am to tell somebody they can't go smoke pot. I actually think you should have a conservative government that doesn't tell you what to do. I think you should be able to bet on the Chiefs because it's your right with the little pittance of money they don't tax. Let you do with what you want.
I think that sports betting's going to pass. I think
be close.
I think Amendment 3 is going to be really close.
I don't.
Well, I was watching your show during the primaries, and you were talking about initiative petition, and you were telling the Republicans, don't you guys think that all this stuff you're trying to load up into this bill, it's a bit of clean Missouri?
It totally is.
Well, I think you're going to have a clean Missouri happen with Amendment 3. So what I mean by that is I think there's an awful lot of people who just read the headlines, and that's part of the reason why we had Brian Westbrook to talk a little bit more about all the stuff that's in Amendment 3 that you don't pay attention to. It's a lot more than what the headline is telling you. But I think the pendulum swung far right. I think this one takes it far left. And I think if it does pass like you think, I think that a lot of people are going to have buyer's remorse after it passes. And I think they're going to come back just like they did Clean Missouri. It passed because they thought they were voting for one thing. But once it passed, in Nancy Pelosi's favorite language, we have to pass it to find out what's in the bill. So I think once it passes, if it does, people are going to find out that's not where Missouri is. All the transgender stuff, the no restrictions that's in that bill, I think you're going to have people that are going to come back, and they're going to want a second bite of that apple.
I think that is very likely. The thing is, can the pro-life folks ever really get over winning? It has damaged them greatly. I watch these pro-life people fight every day. The only thing the pro-lifers hate more than abortion is other pro-lifers. It is a very divided group.
Kind of sounds like the Republican Party in general.
It kind of does.
It's kind of where we are right now.
Hop in the truck and let's take 50 from here to Jefferson City. You're going to see 3 different types of yard signs because they can't even get along on a yard sign. I mean, if the pro-life folks can win this fight, as divided as they are, then they're a bulletproof tiger. No one can stop them. I think you're right, and I think the best thing for this state, if this does pass, is for some people to get together soberly and say, okay, we went a little far.
Right.
Now, this is a little far the other way, guys. We're going to come back with something that is, I don't know the details of abortion policy, but that could be a little more moderate and restrict some of the excesses of Amendment 3. I just feel like there's a lot of people who are consider themselves pro-life that are going to vote for Amendment 3 because they think, okay, this was too much.
I can see that, and I know some of them.
Yeah.
And I've tried to talk to them, like, how do you feel about all the transgender stuff that's in there? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you need to read that. You need to understand what you're really voting for. But I don't know that a ton of people are going to read the details of this.
No one's going to read the details.
I think a lot of people are going to be surprised.
Mike, you are an elected official. I'll put you on the spot. Do you go down while you're voting and read through all that stuff? Because I don't. I'm be honest with you. I'm just a simple hillbilly. I do not read all the details.
I have to get into more of them because I'm called to the carpet when you get behind a microphone.
Okay, that's a good point.
So you have to be pretty informed of a lot of the stuff that's going on. But even with that, when Brian came in, there was some stuff in the bill that I wasn't aware of. Just some wording that's in there that it makes it really, really gray. And
I'm going to rely on you for your analysis of that because not only will I admit to it, I will not be reading it. I like to be as informed as my viewers, and I will not be reading the language. Nor do I think anyone else will, except for exceptions like yourself. And I do think there's a feeling in folks' guts that they're pro-life generally,
right?
But they're like, this is a little much.
Most everybody goes with those three exceptions that said, the life of the mother, rape, incest. Those are three things that you hear across the board, and even Trump talks about it. I mean, it was kind of funny that Melania has come out and said, I'm pro-choice, which has been interesting in the interviews that she's been doing, and her talking about, I don't want the government telling me what to do with my body.
How many households do you think there are in the Senate 15, which is Chesterfield, Town and Country, Wildwood, who have a pro-choice and a pro-life person in that family?
I agree.
I bet you there's, and the issue is if you're pro-choice, you're definitely voting for Amendment 3. The thing I think the problem is there's a lot of folks that that are pro-life. They consider themselves pro-life.
They do.
They vote for pro-life candidates, and one of the reasons they vote for a candidate is they are pro-life. I think they feel like maybe this is a little much. And also, let's be honest, the pro-life camp has spent the last year in court, in the legislature, arguing, wanting to not have this vote. They have not spent this last year out communicating and sharing what convinced me to be pro-life was the absolutely positive message of being pro-life. There's a lot of positive messages to be pro-life. You don't have to scare people.
Right.
I'm pro-life, not because I'm afraid of the pro-choice stuff. I'm pro-life because I think it's a positive thing to bring a life into this world. But the last year they've spent in court and the legislature doing everything they could do to avoid having this election. And I think they might have been better off spending that time talking to the people of Missouri, talking to people in Chesterfield, trying to assuage their concerns, maybe offering a compromise that would have trumped this one. I think if you took Donald Trump's abortion policy, I hate to say this, and pro-choice people won't like it, but I think it's probably where most of Missourians are.
I think it's probably where most of Americans are.
Yeah,
when
right.
When you look at that, because they want some sort of exception in there, but they don't want what Amendment 3 is. But I don't think they're going to know that until after they vote for it. Can you hang out for a little bit?
Sure, you bet.
So we're talking with Scott Fahn, who is the publisher of Missouri Times. You probably see him every week. He's the host of This Week in Missouri Politics, which is the #1 show that you're going to find out of what's going on in state politics. It's Mike Elam sitting in for Addie Fry. We'll continue to talk with Scott on the other side on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Fry Show.
You know that when you are looking to purchase a firearm in Illinois, that you need to have somebody who knows the system, who knows how the structure is set up. If you don't know where to go, let me tell you where I go and where I send all of my friends and my family. It's to STS Armory, online at sts-armory.com, or you can call them directly at 618-931-GUNS, 618-931-GUNS. They're located in Pontoon Beach, Illinois, and they have what you need. They have the firearm that you are looking for. They have the firearm that you're seeking out, but you don't know which one yet because you don't know a whole lot about it, and you need an expert in the business who's going to help you know which one you need. They have the instruction classes that that you are looking for, the ones that help you as a first-timer, the ones that help you qualify for your conceal and carry license. They even have kids and teens firearm safety and education courses. Reach out to STS Armory. Tell them that Annie sent you and make them your family gun store just like they are my family's gun store. 618-931-GUNS. Online right now at sts-armory.com.
Weather can be unpredictable nowadays, but your local news station on the free Odyssey app has got you covered. Whether you need an umbrella, windbreaker, or an extra layer, or two, we'll let you know. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station to listen on your smartphone or ask your smart speaker to play it before you head out the door. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station. That's AUDACY.
A lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, this is my last hope. The next step is getting them in the right arch supports. Our goal is to have that long-term change for them, to see someone that is in pain. I change things for them. See how we can help you with a free fitting at the Good Feet store.
Tired of those pesky moments when you're streaming your favorite shows? Well, say hello to i3 Broadband's 100% fiber optic network with parental controls. You can manage your kids' screen time, filter content, and keep an eye on their online adventures, all with no annual contracts or hidden fees. Just insanely fast internet and a no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 877-976-0711 or log on to i3broadband.com/STL. We're local, reliable, and proud to serve St. Louis.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com or call 314-474-2020. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
Are you a business owner looking to grow and succeed? The St. Charles Regional Chamber is here to help. I'm Scott Tate, President and CEO. As the region's largest chamber with nearly 1,200 members, we offer networking, marketing resources, educational programs, and more to support your business. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or starting out, we have the right membership option for you. Explore our investor levels for exclusive benefits or try our free basic membership. For more information, visit stcharlesregionalchamber.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Replace your old furnace or HVAC system and save up to $2,100 with Carrier Cool Cash rebates. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 On Command. Just tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk. Or download the Odyssey app and stay on top of everything happening anytime, even when you're not close to a radio. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Every Monday's a little bit better when you get a little Motley Crue going, right? That's just the way that you should kickstart your day. Just kickstart my heart with a little. That's my high school music at that point. Motley Crue. Scott Fawn is sitting in with us. You see him on TV every week with This Week in Missouri Politics. Are you a Motley Crue guy?
Oh, in Poplar Bluff, we're a little bit behind St. Louis, usually culturally. So while you thought Motley Crue was your high school, Motley Crue was my college. What are you talking about?
Okay, I
Love
got you
Motley
by a few
Crue.
years.
But I'm from the Boot Hill, so I'm a little behind. Now, I have to admit, I have to say my props to AC/DC and Skinner, but I love Motley Crue.
My 40th high school reunion is coming up in a week and a half. Next weekend. I'm going back to Berryville, Arkansas. Great town of 3,600 people. That's where I graduated. I'm born in Donovan, but I did high school in Berryville, Arkansas. Graduated with 86 people in my class.
I got you at Neelyville. I graduated with 58.
You do win. You're the winner there.
It's like back home we have a pour-off. Like if you say you're poor, I have to come back with 8 ways I was poorer than you. That's just a Boot Hill tradition. You cannot let somebody be poorer than you in the room.
I had more parents than anybody else because when your father is the Southern Baptist minister at the church right across the street from the high school, everything you do, I have a set of parents that are watching me. And long before the internet and long before cell phones, if I was doing something on one side of the town, by the time I got home, and mind you, that's not a big town. By the time I got home, my dad's like, so what were you doing over at Jones's place? And I'm like, man, I can't do anything.
You got to tell them snitches get stitches. You got to establish yourself. Come hard.
That's just how it goes. Hey, Ethan, I do want to jump back. I want to do a quick federal thing, and then we'll talk state again. But I don't know if do you have headphones? You do have headphones. So we were talking earlier today with Charlie Gasparino, and one of the things that we were talking about was J.D. Vance and how J.D. Vance has a great way of putting these national reporters in their place. And I want to give you a couple instances of that. Let's start off with the New York Times reporter in Cut 12.
Okay. Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
Let me ask you a question. Is it okay that big technology companies censored the Hunter Biden laptop story, which independent analysis have said it cost Donald Trump millions of votes?
Senator Vance, I'm going to ask you again. Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
Did big technology companies censor a story that independent studies have suggested would have cost Trump millions of votes?
Senator
I think that's
Vance,
the question.
I'm going to ask you again. Did Donald Trump lose the 2020
election? And I've answered
election?
your question with another question. You answer my question, and I'll answer yours.
I love the fact that he just rejects their premise. And he did it again on ABC. And Martha tried to push back on him in talking about the Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment complexes. And complexes. How that conversation went. 13.
The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border?
I love that fact. How many apartment complexes is it okay to be run by Venezuelan gangs in your community before you think it's a problem, Martha?
And I thought J.D. Vance was outstanding in the sense that right now we all know who we're voting for, right?
Right.
I know who I'm voting for. I'm going to vote for President Trump. But I'll tell you this. I think the who won the election thing is just tiresome. Do I think Donald Trump won? No, I don't. I thought he ran a great race, came up short. Am I sick of hearing about it? Yes. Am I going to vote for him this time, even though he won't admit he lost? Yes. But I thought J.D. Vance put on a clinic there of taking a question meant to try to trip him up. It was an aggressive question. He was on ABC, so maybe he just should have expected that. But he turned the premise in a very charming way. And I think if let's say you're not a ranked partisan, you're just a person working for a living, in my view, I think the way he reset that is very compelling.
I do too.
It was almost like what Barack Obama used to do to hostile questions was charm people. I thought it was a very charming answer to a very hostile question that I think would take folks and make them think, okay, yeah. How many apartment complexes do the Democrats want to be ran by Venezuelan gangs?
How many is okay? And there's been a lot have been trolling her on Twitter now and showing her $2.2 million home that she lives in and saying, well, would it be okay if they move into your house, Martha?
Yeah.
How many Venezuelan gangs do you allow in your neighborhood to come in and run things?
What if the Venezuela? That's why I loved Governor Abbott driving the illegal immigrants to Martha's Vineyard, to Chicago, to New York. You want them to take care of the problem. Here, you take your little taste.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that if what is there's a number of a percentage of if African Americans move into a county, the white liberals leave.
Right.
How much you want to bet if the Venezuelan gang pulled up next to her $2.2 million mansion, Ms. Radich is out of town?
She is selling that house in a heartbeat. We are moving on.
And that's the part that cracks me up about these people. They don't, it's all theoretical to them because they live very elitist, top-end lives. They ain't never been to Stan's in South City, and they ain't never going to go.
No.
And so I guess when I break it down, that elitism, I think the juice of Trump, let's be honest, a lot of things Trump suggests is not conservative. It's pragmatic. Dick Gephardt, the son of a milkman, worked his whole life for the tariffs Donald Trump put in. Let's be honest.
That's true.
But what he is it's not, I don't think he's Republican, Democrat. I don't think he's conservative, liberal. I think he's anti-elitist because I think that elitism is what people can't stand. And it's what J.D. Vance slowly showed her and these people on Twitter. That's just an elitist question from an elitist, and good on him for turning it around on her.
And I think you see it in Brett Baier has a great thing on Fox Nation that talks about the history of political parties and how they have evolved over the course of our country's history. And he talks about the fact that Donald Trump reset the Republican Party. I heard Josh Hawley talking about this in 2018 when he was talking about it. And you had, before Donald Trump, unions were Democrat for sure, and wasn't even a question, right? Now, with Donald Trump, you actually had the Teamsters who refused to endorse this year because their party, their leadership is still Democrat elitist. But 70% of the Teamsters said, we're voting Trump. And they said, we're staying out of this because they would have a riot and a revolution would happen in the Teamsters if they would have endorsed Kamala Harris.
I tell you, I'm just a Boot Hill farm boy. But if you work for a living, put me on your team. I'm a big fan of labor, the trades.
Yep.
The old boys that are working right now, listen to this. I'm a big fan, and I credit Josh Hawley a great deal for being one of the first Republicans to step up and say, you know what? Wait a minute. These guys are working for a living. I'm on their side. I'm a huge fan of labor unions, of the trades, of the folks that are out working today. You're swinging a hammer. What can I do to help you, sir? You're putting pipes together. You're twisted wires together. Tell me how to be on your side. I think that's the future of the Republican Party, and I think it's awesome. And I don't know Josh Hawley that well. I could do the others, but I really credit him for stepping up and saying, you know what, wait a minute, tell me more about your side. I'm with you.
Yeah, I was always told for a long time that, union guys are Democrat guys. And I got to tell you, in 2022, when I was out knocking doors for my county council race, I had an awful lot of union Republicans.
Oh, yeah.
There were an awful lot of union guys that still had their Trump stuff hanging proudly. Like, I would go up to some doors, and they had signs that said, Proud Union Home, and a Trump flag outside. I mean, Donald Trump completely reset who the parties were, because it used to be, you would say the elitist, if you will, were the Republicans. And now the elitists by far are the Democrats, all in. One thing I wanted to touch on before we leave, because you travel the state in your F-150 tour and getting out there, you talk to people all over the place. You're in the cities, you're in the small towns, you're all over. Tell me a little bit about this issue with the judges and retaining the judges that you're hearing some stuff about.
I saw, people take pictures of their ballot now. Yep. I know you're supposed to. Kurt Barr would tell you can't. But
I don't think that's something you're legally supposed to do.
Yeah, but people do.
They do.
There's a lot of things I'm not legally supposed to do, but being a white trash hillbilly, I do them. I saw people voting to not confirm Judge Gooch and Judge Broniak. And they were Republicans, and they were mad about the Supreme Court ruling putting Amendment 3 on the ballot. Number one, they voted against that. They sided with the dissent. They actually took the stance that you said you wanted the court to take. Judge Broniak and Judge Gooch are very conservative judges. I promise you, if you want to roll the dice again, the chances of you getting a more liberal judge is extremely high, 90% or better. If you're a Republican, these are your Republican judges that voted the way you say you wanted people to vote. So it's the problem with the Republican Party. Why won't you take yes for an answer? These two judges are excellent judges. I break more laws than I even know. But if you talk to Republicans, Mark Ellinger, folks in that community, they'll tell you these are very good judges, very well qualified, and very conservative. And two, if you're going to scold someone for how they sided on an issue, why would you scold the people that sided with you?
Yeah.
It just goes back to sometimes I'm telling you, I've watched it from the front row. Some of these people, the only thing they hate more than abortions are pro-life people. It's just the truth.
Well, we joke about it in St. Charles all the time because we're such a Republican county that a lot of times we don't have enough Democrats to fight with, so we just fight with Republicans. That's pretty much how we do it.
That is also a great way to describe the Missouri State Senate.
It has been for the last 3-4 years at least. Before you get out of here, how do you think that's going to line up? How do you think the Senate's going to look next year? Is it going to be a more, for lack of a better term, workable Senate, or you think this back and forth is going to continue?
I'm going to say let's talk to Nick Schroer.
Okay.
And I honestly think it's going to start off for the first couple 3 months while the mostly committee processes are working. I think it's going to start off with folks attempting to work together. Now, the only thing scarier than the Missouri Senate not passing anything is the Missouri Senate passing a lot of stuff. You should be very afraid if that happens. I think Nick Schroer from the St. Louis area in your county in St. Charles is going to be the pivotal senator. I think he's talented enough to lead an opposition and gum everything up if he wants to. But Nick has always been the type that wanted to pass things. He wanted to carry legislation for the cops. He wanted to carry pro-life legislation.
Okay.
Well, you can't do that if you're melting the place down. They'll just choke it up. So I think there's definitely going to be, Nick Schroer is going to be a major player in deciding that. And I believe, Nick has said on my show, he's going to start off the session working together. I think you'll get to spring break with a pretty collegial Senate. And then look, the system is made for that thing to spark toward the end. So if the Senate breaks down a couple times, it did before Bill Eigel.
True.
And it will after, and it's a good thing. So you got to let it work out. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, and I think I'm optimistic that you'll have a more professional, normal Senate. But I think Nick Schroer is going to have a lot to say about that.
Well, I appreciate you spending some time. I appreciate
Always
you
fun.
being here. It always goes so fast, doesn't it? I got the chance when Wendy Hausman, you let her guest host.
Oh, she's so great.
I got the opportunity to be on This Week in Missouri Politics, and that was cool. I'm not a state guy, so when you're a county council guy, nobody cares.
Well, you guys in St. Charles keep electing folks like Wendy. It's going to be harder to tease you.
I think she is going to be. She'll be the vice chair, I think, of budget this time.
Big deal.
And
Big deal.
I think she's going to head that up, and I think that's a big thing for our part of the state.
Yep.
I think you're seeing an awful lot of folks from the St. Louis area who are getting into leadership, and I think we've needed that in the eastern part of the state. I will say one thing that I take issue with that you say on a regular basis. Being from Poplar Bluff, you say hillbilly. Being a guy who's from the Ozark Mountains, I take issue with the fact you flatland boys can't say hillbilly.
Well, see, the Poplar Bluff is where the flats stop of the Delta and the Ozarks start. The county has the eastern side where we call the flatland web footers, and then where I live is in the western side where the hills start.
Okay.
So I can see from the farm where the Delta begins, but I live on a hill. You'll notice I don't roll my pants up to come out to the town,
My grandfather used to tell me when we moved to Northwest Arkansas, he said, I think one of your legs is shorter than the other because you're standing on a hill all the time.
That'll do it.
So there you go. Hey, that is Scott Vaughn. You can see him every week on This Week in Missouri Politics. You can also read the Missouri Times and catch up on what's going on. Great resource on state politics. My name is Mike Elam, sitting in for Addie Fry today. We're going to wrap up the big show on the other side on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Attention Missouri Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care with help preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly after every shift. It's all funded by Medicaid and 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. This service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers are paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-296-7260. That's 800-296-7260. 800-296-7260.
Missouri's judicial system gives voters the final say in retaining their judges, so know your judges before you vote November 5th. Visit yourmissouriJudges.org. That's yourmissouriJudges.org.
Paid for by the Missouri Bar, Misha Epps, Executive Director.
Grill Master Tony's cooking up a spooky special for your October. Mark Cox here. How about brisket chili with beans for 10 people, 10 pounds of pre-smoked jumbo wings, 4 pounds of pulled pork, the slider buns, the St. Louis-style sauce, just $225 for 10 people. He's also going to have some specials coming up for Thanksgiving celebrations, and those will be online soon. You can order right now from Grill Master Tony. Just go to grillmastertony.com.
Have you set your appointment up yet to have your furnace checked to make sure you are good and ready to go for this winter? It's really, really a great idea to have it done for your own peace of mind and for your safety also. Definitely check your furnace before you use it. You can go to my website. It's bartinman.com, and we'll have pictures up of what we've seen and what we've seen and found that the homeowners had no clue that this danger existed. Most have no idea what I'm talking about now, but if you went to the website, if you're not going to have me come out or another company come out and check, then you'll know what to look for on your furnace and hot water heater also. So my number, again, it's Bart Inman. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest number, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com, Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
The YouTube live chat poll, what has hurt Kamala more during her presidential campaign? Her lack of interviews, her media blitz, or nothing? She's killing it. We're going to share those results in this upcoming segment. And Mark Reardon's also going to give us a promo of the upcoming 3 hours and what he has. Stay tuned in right here. The time is 2:50. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
So thanks for coming back with something that's just rocking. We went from Motley Crue to... What the hell is this?
Well, all I heard was Hello Darkness, My Old Friend at the beginning. So this must be what's going to play on the station if Kamala wins.
This This is Kamala's version of Simon and Garfunkel. Jeez,
a little depressing.
I know, kidding. I mean, it's chilly outside, the weather's changing, and we're going to play something like that. No, we're not doing that. Mark Reardon, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you? Do I have a microphone on here? I'm so not
You're all
used to
good.
being on this side of the board.
I know.
I'm on this side of the board.
I haven't seen you in forever, so
I'm so confused by something. Can I just do this in real time?
You can.
Ethan, why are the microphones not on the left side of the board where you're working right now?
Why are the
like where they are
microphones-
for me? Why are they in completely different spots?
Nope,
than
the
when
mics are always here. You're just tripping.
Okay, all right. Then that's just me. I thought I saw... Forget it. We're just going to move on. We're
So
just going
those-
to move on.
This is why you don't eat the mushrooms in the kitchen before you go on the radio. You
Well,
never know
it's-
when
a lot of
people
it-
drop off food at a radio station.
That's true.
You never know.
For me, it's a lot of perspective. So I'm sitting usually where Ethan is sitting, and now I'm over where Sue sits, and I'm seeing things differently, so I was a little confused.
By the way, is Sue back today?
Yeah. We were both gone on Friday.
Yep.
Do you feel powerless over there
Separate
right now?
reasons. A little bit, yeah. I'm a control freak. You know that.
I do know that, yes.
Hey,
Yes.
what's coming on of the big Mark Reardon show today?
Well, the first thing I have to do is share the story about my little daughter. I'm very proud of her. We went deer hunting on Friday, Mike. That's why I took the weekend off. There was a special doe season in many of the counties across the state, including Howard County, where I hunt. So that's where we were. A lot of stuff to share from the weekend. Some interesting tightening of the race, I think. Did you see SNL on Saturday? Because
Yes.
all of a sudden they've gotten very funny, but only on one side of the equation. So they do this bit with the Family Feud, and they have, Gaffigan playing Tim Walz, and Dana Carvey's doing Biden, and Maya Rudolph's there, and I'm probably missing somebody.
Are you going to play that clip?
I am. And they
Okay,
look, that was so funny.
I won't.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, we have that.
I'm
we
gonna
can play
play it.
but I'll leave it for you.
But my point is that the idiots that were playing Vance and Trump and Donald Trump Jr., it wasn't funny at all. Like,
No.
even the audience didn't laugh. The audience was laughing a lot when they were making fun of Biden and Harris because it was funny. I mean, Dana Carvey doing Joe Biden,
Yes.
we have been robbed of that for the past few years. We've just been robbed as a nation.
And Maya Rudolph as Kamala Harris, she is spot on.
I think she is Kamala Harris. I'm starting to wonder.
It's kind of like Tina Fey when she was Sarah
Sarah Palin.
Palin.
It really is.
It's like sometimes is that Tina Fey or is that Palin?
Mike, you and I, young Ethan here is not old enough to appreciate the beginning stages of Saturday Night Live, and even in the 80s and the 90s when they had stretches. It's always kind of, depended on the cast. But look what they're doing. They're doing cold opens on 50-year-old Saturday Night Live with cast members that aren't part of this cast because the part of the cast that's there right now is not funny. They're only funny because they're using Gaffigan, who I don't think was a cast member, but
I don't
Dana
think so
Carvey
either.
and Maya Rudolph. So these are people that used to be part of the cast, and they have to use them. How would you like to be a cast member on SNL trying to cut your teeth in comedy, kind of seeing, no, I'm not that funny. These other people are.
But we're going to bring in the rock stars from way back when.
Yeah.
And we're going to use those
At
guys.
least they're willing to do that, though. I mean, I tell you what,
Well,
you
finally.
play Maya Rudolph's laugh next to Kamala's. I don't know if I'm able to tell the difference.
No. Yeah, she's
been
got
very
it down,
good.
for sure.
Where do you see this race going? I mean, in my mind, it really looks like Trump is picking up speed and the wheels are coming off her, boss.
Okay, that's right. First of all, it was Andy Samberg who played Doug Emhoff, Kamala's husband, which he was great too. I think that things are looking very good. Carl Cannon was on my show last week from Real Clear Politics, and he mentioned something that sort of resonated. If you go back to 2015, and Mike, you were on top of this Trump thing a lot better than I was. We know that. That's been established. But he closed strong in 2015.
Yes.
He's closing strong now. And I think she's struggling. Here's something interesting. I'm sure you may have talked about it. Do you see she's doing an interview with Brett Baer tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Charlie Gasparino talked about that.
That seems like a really bad idea for her.
That's a Hail Mary in my mind. I mean, you go from The View and Oprah where you just completely fall flat on your face in those. And to make up for it, you have to go sit down with Brett Baer, who is a legit journalist.
I don't understand it. I really don't. I'm very confused by the move because I can't see how this is going to go well for her because he's the type of person who's going to follow up with questions.
He will.
He won't let her wiggle out. Now, we've seen a little bit of that with Bill Whitaker, so maybe they feel like, well, we handled this with Bill Whitaker, but they also edited the crap out of that with the 60 Minutes.
Did it not bother you in the 60-minute interview that not only did they change her answers and move that around, but you had, while she was answering the question, Bill Whitaker started doing voiceover over the top and answering the question for her and saying, she went on to say, blah, 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 blah. Wait, why did you do that?
Well,
why didn't you let her finish her answer?
Okay. In fairness, because I've done editing with television and radio for years, you sometimes have to do that for efficiency. Here's the bigger issue. They're not releasing the entire transcript.
That's the whole thing.
One of the reasons they do 60 minutes overtime is not everything's going to end up on the hour show. So they put things online, actually pretty beneficial. You can see more questions that way. In this particular case, I think that you're going to have some editing with 60 minutes. Was it deceptive in the way that they released it? Yeah, I think it was.
I think it was, too. That's Mark Reardon. He is coming up on the other side of the break. It has been a lot of fun sitting in on Annie's show. I was here Friday. That's why I couldn't sit in for Mark. Although next time, if you've got a round table and your host isn't in studio, I'm happy to stay.
I know.
And do that for you.
I appreciate, Mike, that kind of bummed me out, but I had to take that day off, and I did not like not having a round table. So that's something to keep in mind.
But I look forward to being on the Mark Reardon roundtable soon. Ethan, John, thank you very much for all your help. You guys have a great Monday, and I'll talk to you soon. Mike Elam for Annie Fry on 97.1 FM Talk.
My friend Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage knows exactly what you need when it comes to acquiring your mortgage. Could be your mortgage that you're getting for the first time on a home you're looking to buy. It could also be a mortgage refinance on the home that you have right now. Consider the fact that rates have come down from their high highs, and consider the fact that the bagel loan, which is only available from Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, means that you acquire that mortgage, whether it's on a new home or mortgage refinance, you get it with no closing costs. That means you can go through the process of getting the lowest rate possible. That means you can go through the process of getting that brand new home, or go through the process of making sure that you're not paying that super high rate that you got in the last couple years.